Hello and welcome to Edge of Empire. Tonight it is the 11th episode of our 7th year, and what we're going to do tonight, after I introduce my guests, co-hosts.
Yes. Hang on a second.
That's
That's all right, is it?
We were just discussing Spitfires, so I thought I'd try and
7
introduce.
years in, and finally we know where we stand, gentlemen.
Yes. Compare my co-hosts to various airplanes from World War II. So, Rob's disappearing behind a Spitfire.
Is that the one that I bought you, Rob?
Yeah.
Okay, so starting off with Graham, who I guess reminds me of the Boeing B-29 Super Fortress.
Oh, nice. Good choice.
I'm not going to give anyone the Spitfire because that's just going to be,
He's smooth, streamlined, pressurized, and
had a lot of
more
Americans
expensive than the Manhattan Project.
Pretty much.
Americans decided, did you say, Chris? You want to have a word with yourself. I thought my joke about Mr. B refusing a ring was close to the knuckle.
Then we have our de Havilland DH-98 Mosquito. That is right.
I'll take that.
Oh, yeah, twin engine.
Beautiful. Made of wood.
Made of balsa wood, yeah.
Best airplane of the war.
So I guess that would make Chris a Mitsubishi A6M0.
Oh, yeah. Very good plane.
They are excellent planes. Just
long range, but really poorly tested.
Not great land.
And I'm just going to accept that I am the FW190. So
Michael the Butcher Bird. He'll be getting into costume later.
Yeah.
I don't think I could give myself be a BF109. So
okay.
Either way, we'll
Very
shoot
good.
that fucker.
Yeah, shoot that fucker. Right.
Yes, well, I don't have to beat that. Anyway, right. So tonight, what are we doing? We're gonna talk about the new releases because there have been some, not many, but a few. Look at the State of the Union. We've got some straws that Aunt Sally can grasp, and some letters from the audience. So that should be fun. So, Shall we run straight into the new releases?
Let's do it.
I'm going to kick it off, quite literally, with something with like big long legs and massive feet. Lancer, baby.
Oh yeah.
Plastic Cerastus. Get
I've
it
got
in
a resin
my.
one though, so I'm like, do I want one of these?
No, you don't need one, Mr. B.
I've managed to resist. You can shut up, Mills the Elder, because I've managed to resist this, and then basically you've convinced me into doing like multiples of these. So
you don't have to spam them. I mean, I think
I'm gonna have just my resin one, and that'll be it.
I think we're going to pick this up in PaintShack this week about a combined thing. But suffice to say, knights will be involved.
It gives me the fizz.
That reminds me, I need to fill about the night walk, the Titan walk.
Okay,
that booked in. Right. Okay. So the Cerastus Night Lancer, £120. I was expecting it to be way more. I don't know why. I was expecting
rarely out of stock.
Because everybody bought one because it's sexy. It's
all right. £120. They've got 10 in stock at Element Games, and it's 96 quid.
10-inch what?
They've got 10 in stock at Element Games, and it's 96 quid. Don't tell me that, Michael. The missus is out at work. I could just literally buy one now.
Chris.
Oh, sorry, my headphones are a bit.
You need to be very careful how you pronounce those three words together, because 10 in stock could sound very different if you
in your endo.
Ladies and gentlemen, I should be bringing the innuendos to see.
Yes,
it reminds me of that thing on QI where Sandy got them to sort of spell out sock, and it said something in French or something. Or was it Spanish? Okay. I can't remember. Anyway. Light Lancer, fantastic model. I'm very much I don't know, I'd want one, but I've got a resin one, so probably shouldn't. All right, the second one, and I don't care that it's 40k, it's absolutely flipping cool. The Merchoid Classic Codex Desk Mat.
Chat alert.
It is, but I don't care. It's cool. It's basically a mat to put onto your keyboard and mouse.
You can't see it, so why does it need a picture on it?
What the Jesus is that nonsense? That is absolute tat.
Prime tat. You cover it with a keyboard so you can't see it. It serves no purpose whatsoever if your keyboard's still got the rubber feet underneath it.
I'm betting that if you turn that over, it will say for Michael Bottrell on it.
Temporarily out of stock, so it's popular.
Because Michael's bought all of them.
It's cool. It's the retro, covers. You got the Angels of Death. You got the Sisters of Battle, the Eldar, all the old.
You could go to warhammerart.com and buy the prints of them and put them on the wall where they might look nice. Or you can just have it printed onto some neoprene tat and then cover it with something else that then gets covered in biscuit, shrapnel, and knowing you, Michael, paint spillage and God knows what, making it even less.
I did spill some Agrax Earthshade on my current desk mat. So.
Don't buy it, folks. It's tat. They'll get the message eventually if people stop buying the tat.
Well, I think it's cool. So anyway, then we have the much in demand, and everybody was so surprised that this hadn't come any sooner, and it was just everyone's so happy for this. The Imperial Frisk Praetor in Tartarus Terminator armor with the exact same loadout as the one they used to sell until this came out.
He's quite a nice model, though, if you're into your
He's
sisters.
a lovely model. It's just like, why?
Yeah, but it's content. It's something. It's not a generic reposed Mark 6, though, so it makes a nice bloody change.
I suppose so. It's just, I don't know. It's just
the old one.
Yeah.
Are they simultaneously available?
Nope.
Or has it been?
Nope. This is replaced it. I don't know. Apparently, this one's slightly upscaled.
I don't think he'd be hard to convert for anything else, though, because there's just a little bit of stuff that need filing off. So he's theoretically quite potentially Legion agnostic.
Infinitely prefer the old one to that one.
Yeah, I think the old one's got a better pose. But
It does.
It's a weird thing. It's a weird thing. Like, nobody really wanted this, but we're going to do it anyway.
Yep, fair enough. He is £32.50.
Are the weapons the other way around on the other one? I can't remember.
I think they are.
In which case, that's really useful, actually. Because one has, if you can find it, one has got left arm and the other one's got the right arm with the shield.
You could have a Praetor with two shields who just stand
No. What I mean is, for the people that are perhaps somewhat slightly less legally minded and had the ability to do so, you could scan them or perhaps copy them both, and then you've got a sprue that you could potentially make out of them of left and right-handed shields for any Imperial Fist Terminator squad that you may or may not have.
That is a very good point.
That's always the problem. I'm not saying you should do that, but I'm just saying there is a possibility.
Conversely, also at the moment, the new Elegoo Saturn 8K large format printer is only £369, down from $600. Absolute bargain.
I'm going to get one of them next year. Okay, next out the bag, we've got a Gallowfall Kill Team upgrade. It's basically just scenery gubbins for your type stuff, just like some escape pods
and Dr. Frankenfurter's lab gubbins, basically.
Just gubbins for your and greebles for your tables and your setups. That if it's the kind of thing you fancy, it's a bit expensive for what it is, but
also usually, if you play Necromunda, it might be useful if you've got the Rogue Medic, you've got all the Arachna Doc fella. Yeah,
I like everything at the bottom, but I don't like the stuff at the top. The old, well, actually, no, I like the stasis pod type things, but I don't like the escape pods. But
it's a lot of escape pods.
I think on a Zone Mortalis. Oh no, the old Praetor had the weapons the other way around, the same way around rather.
All right, sorry.
Disappointingly, just found a photo of it, so that sucks. Yeah, I think on a ZM board have a row of those. They look quite cool.
Yeah,
do you think?
Yeah. If you had it like if you're on a spaceship boarding hangar, they could be like ready to actually eject.
Yeah,
I suppose I'm not. I might, because mine is sort of under high fit. That might be sort of clouding my opinion.
It's a bit too high tech for that. But the medical accoutrement would be perfect for Underhive.
I'm looking at them and I'm thinking
well.
exactly, Necromunda Zone Mortalis, that they would look awesome. Anyway, they're £30, only available from GW. Okay, after that we have Warhawk. They publish it as a paperback. It's $7.99 or $6.79 from Element Games. And then we also had the Devastation of the Imperial Palace interior map. It was £40, sold out. That's that. I thought they'd already done that one, but
don't rely on the
link for that.
Yeah, even your link, error 404, all records expunged.
Not available.
Yeah, I thought they'd had about that. The next one was a bit of a surprise. I think we were all sort of taken aback by this. It's the Arvus Lighter. Now, they say they've retooled it. I'd imagine because it's not exactly going to be a very in-demand model.
It would be if it was in plastic.
I think
the only people who would use it is Solar Auxilia.
Yeah, it's
can you use it in Militia?
Ever be a big seller.
Yeah, you can use it in Militia. You can use it in Solar Orcs.
But there's
40k rules for it already, so people would stop crying about it. If they did that in plastic, that would sell.
I have to agree, but anyway, they say it's a retooled model, but it looks like they've just done a new paint job on the old one.
I think they put some hard points on it because you can arm it now, whereas the original one didn't have hard points or any.
You can't arm it in the rules, can you, though? I don't think it's got any guns in the rules.
Yeah, it does. It doesn't as standard, but you can buy them.
Oh, right, I see. Okay, right, yeah. Yeah, it just looks very similar to the original one, just with a new, cleaner paint job.
Heresy rules.
Where is it?
That's what it is. Yes, £85. That's a bit more expensive than it used to be, isn't it?
85, yeah, it's gone up a tenner.
Yeah. Anyway, but it's a great model.
It's beautiful.
But
I say
it's expensive for what it does in the game, and I can't see anyone outside of hard.
It's more points than it is. It's more points than it is pounds, I think.
It can't take any weapons in Solar Rocks, and we don't have a militia list. I can't remember the militia is.
Am I thinking of the old one? It used to be able to take weapons.
Right. Nope.
You used to be able to put a multi-laser or a las cannon on it.
So
I swear I've seen people put las cannons on them.
You used to be able to. Yeah, you can't anymore. Not for Solar Auxilia anyway.
Okay. Anyway, so it looks nice. I think it does look nice with this Death Guard inspired paint job on it, but
there's a bit of terrain. Great. But we're getting on to
the wrecked one that you used to get in the old 40k book years ago was 40k set years ago was amazing.
Oh, I thought that was an Aquila Lander.
Oh, sorry, that wasn't Aquila.
Yeah. And you can't with the militia either.
Yeah. Okay.
Next, smoke launchers, and that's it.
No guns, and we'll die super quick.
Next up, we've got.
And it is double the number of pounds that it is points.
Oof,
militia,
that's harsh.
11, 10, 2 whole points.
40 points.
Movement 12.
85 quid.
Capacity 12. Yeah.
I must admit, I will be looking for a proxy rather than buying one.
I'm all right, thanks.
Okay, then we've got Valdor, Blood of the Imperium, finally getting its paperback release. I thought they'd already done that.
3 years old by now, isn't it? Surely.
Yeah, it's quite old one, but yeah. Good book, though. Absolutely cracking read. And then we have Blood of the Emperor, an old anthology. I say old, it's oldish anthology getting an audio release. So that was quite a pleasant surprise. $19.99, or you can get one Audible credit. We'll put our affiliate link in the show notes for that.
That was a. Was it not a advent calendar special? That one.
No, I think they. It was Black Library Day a few years ago.
Oh, was it? I've not read it, but it's audio only. Unfortunately, I can't get it.
I think they actually put it into anthology with the other two that were like that.
Right, yeah. I'll see if I can get hold of it for the Kindle. Oh, right, yeah.
Yes, no, it is available. I have it as an EPUB. I bought it as an EPUB, so it's like a bunch of short stories. Like there's one where Rogel Dawn finds a bunch of stuff from the missing 2 legions, and then he's basically...
Oh, yes.
Yeah, you can walk away and get your memory wiped, or, we're going to have words with Bill over here. Anyway, so that's the main releases. There's a couple of tangentials. I'll just mention them. We're not going to discuss them, but we've got a Master of Possession, Chaos Space Marine. I thought that could work well as a word bearer. Felgor Ravagers, which are kill team.
Yeah, actually, that guy's awesome. He's fantastic.
His rules are crap in 40k, but he looks great. And I
think he might make quite a good, very late Heresy kind of Diabolist or something cool like that.
That was my thoughts on him.
You might want to change the bottom half. His greaves look a bit primarified to me, but
yeah, I think it'd be super cool. I was thinking about doing a sort of corrupted legion. And hold on, the dog is biting my fucking feet. Get off!
Well, they always said, don't work with animals or children. That's the age-old line, and it's rung true again.
Yeah.
He
is a nice model, that guy, actually.
Yeah. Felgor Ravagers, which are your Beastmen fiddle team, which I quite like, but if you need to be a
normal, they just need to be a normal unit.
Yep. You've got Hearthkin Salvagers, very tangential for your militia who are squad inspired. Nurgling Pin Badges, $6.99. Dark Lilac. Yep, tap. A Nurgling Lanyard and Green Pin Badge, and an Ultramarines Lanyard, which is the greatest release this month so far. So
tat.
That's the new releases. Yeah, but
just as we often like to discuss the faces on the Hearthkin Salvagers.
Yep.
You've got the photo of the close-ups of the faces, and there's the guy in the middle is more moustache than he is anything else.
The guy in the middle
of the faces, yeah, that's Sam Elliott. That's Sam Elliott in squat form.
I mean,
that's Dick Strawbridge.
That's exactly who it is.
Yeah, actually,
that's exactly who it is.
Yeah,
okay,
I know the names of people. I know the names of the people who can out mustache me.
It's a short list, but
Dick Strawbridge is that like full on. Yeah, he's off to go and fix up a chateau with his missus who's stuck in the 1950s and then sell it because he realizes he's made a bodge of it.
Yeah, but anyway, I just thought, it's a possible militia option for anyone doing that. So anyway, that's the new releases. So how about we go into what we've been up to?
So let's move on to what we have been up to. And, there's a very classic song called Walk On By. And that's exactly what I'm going to do. Because time and time,
You got married, dude.
I don't care. She's not in the room. It's okay.
She's not in at the moment.
No. I just cannot bring up any motivation. My motivation is weak at the best of times. But I'm just like, what
that's what she said.
It's not in that situation. There's no armies I want to build. There's nothing I really want to add to any of my existing armies. I'm just like, okay, I'm just treading the water is where I'm at. So I've done nothing. So Graham, you've done a load of stuff. Tell us about that.
You need to go to more events, my man, or play more games anyway. What have I done?
Early in the new year.
I don't know if that would do it because I've got a few armies I've got Imperial Fist, Blood Angels.
Well, we need to set up something in the new year.
It's not a case of
hang out.
Not having the thing to. No, I don't think playing would make me want to make anything, if that makes sense.
Well, that was a question. Anyone been to Sanctuary Gaming Centre?
No.
Never.
In Sutton Coldfield.
Why would I have been there? I live in Sussex.
I don't know if you've been to an event. Apparently, it's been running for years.
And I was just closer for him to play a game in Paris than it would for him to play a game in Sussex.
I was just wondering if that might be a place to meet up to play.
Yeah,
for a weekend, Airbnb or whatever.
We will discuss later on.
Yep. Rather than Warhammer World.
Yeah. Anyway, so I went to a tournament in Heaton, which is always the hardcore, the score kind of tournament. So this one had a particularly interesting Force org chart, which basically meant I could take a ton of tanks. So I took a ton of tanks, which was fantastic. But I feared that even with my massive toolbox full of tanks, that wasn't quite enough. So I got some more tanks. So 3 Vindicators, fantastic combo. Another Predator.
How many points was this?
This was 2,500. And I basically had some pretty horrible stuff. But to be fair, it's Heaton, and everybody had horrible stuff.
Yes, they do.
Happened to take tanks for my particular horribleness. So I paid three Vindicators, another Predator to bring my total of Predators up to 4 for the Ultramarines, an Armistos. So pretty good choice actually as a Centurion to add to a full Mentaris squad because he's heavy. So they don't lose the ability that they have of being heavy, which is pretty useful for blast weapons and template weapons. Also has a Cognos Signum like a Master of Signals, but also has a las cannon that's master crafted. So pretty useful guy. They're already on Blister Skill 5 anyway, so there's not much point in boosting it to 6. But that gives them night vision and all sorts of other stuff, which is great. Also wanted a Herald with them because I didn't want them running off because he's got a banner which says, "Ha, I'm fearless." So yeah, that was a pretty nasty squad, to be honest with you. That's full Mentaris, 1 Armistice, 1 Herald. And then I put together 10 las cannon guys, 1 other new Armistice, and 2 Scorpiusi, called Scorpiuses. Yeah, these are for the event that Mark and I are going to at the end of this month. No, early next month. A couple of weeks' time, actually, 2.5 weeks' time. In Scotland. So yeah, I've got to paint those, and I'm a little bit behind schedule, but I shall get there. But yeah, painting the Vindicators. There's some stuff. There should be a link to my pictures there if you want to see them.
Yep, I'll make sure that's in the.
But I'm pretty pleased the way these turned out. Actually, they look pretty good. They match the rest of the army really well. Yeah, enjoyed. I like painting the Ultramarines. They're a cool legion to mess about with.
Indeed.
So yeah, all good in the hood. That's me. That's what I painted.
Very nice, Mr. B. You've been doing. You're also in a similar situation of slightly behind.
Yes, this month I painted some bits for my Imperial Fist. I painted a tactical squad, which. Relatively happy with, along with command stuff. So I had the command set, the guy with the banner, and oh my god, my photos look terrible. I don't know what it is. I'm terrible at taking photos. They don't look this bad in person. But
yeah, I've often found that your photos your stuff looks infinitely better in person than it does on the photos.
Yeah,
your photos are very overexposed, especially the
yellow highlights. They look like they've been put
very
on by
light-coloured armies, and you overexpose them, and it looks like you thin your paint with sand.
Yes.
I know that you don't, but it looks like you thin your paint with sand.
So I got the command guy. So that's a herald with a mace and a champion praetor guy with a big sword. And then we've got
with a little spray going, get back.
I also painted the obligatory las cannon squad. As well, so Mark III. So that is that's fun. They're gonna start. I don't know when they'll make their debut, but I need them. Can't go without them, unfortunately, anymore. And that's going to be fun. And I also painted Evander Garius, Lord Castellan, Tyrant of Cophonia. So he is
from the new.
Yeah, he's a lot of fun to paint.
Oh, let's have a look at this fella.
Yep. He's
cool. He is cool. Yeah, you want to have a word with your photographer because it looks like you've say put your highlights on with a crayon on that one, and I know you haven't because they look much better in person.
Yeah, I'm gonna
actually go back and find the Warhammer community article about taking photographs.
I think Louise Sugden did a video on taking photos on YouTube.
She did the original one that's on Warhammer community from years ago.
I'm going to take a look at her video, and
Are you using a phone or using a camera?
I'm using a phone.
My phone doesn't do that, so it's kind of weird.
No, but there's a guide on the Warhammer community one. There's one on if you're using your phone.
It's the lighting, probably.
Yeah.
Yes,
Possibly too bright. Yeah.
Too bright. Yeah.
Or it's too white to light. So it's...
if you're using your Lumi, then turn it on to half power for taking photographs.
Yeah. Anyway, so that's what I've done. And at the minute, I'm painting a las cannon squad for the Death Guard because I put it on the list, not realizing I didn't have one. I thought I did, but
it's because you just painted Imperial Fist one because you're like, I've painted some las cannon guys and just didn't notice what colour you painted them. You colour blonde.
Yeah, so I had to get a Mark 6 set of las cannons and some Marines, so they're going to get painted.
Weirdly
over the
enough,
next few days.
I moan about assembling Marines. I didn't mind assembling heavy support squads.
I wonder why.
What, for the Mark 6?
Yeah.
Doesn't mind assembling tanks either. Basically, his enjoyment of building something is caliber dependent.
I think that's a fair point. It's a fair point.
No, but to be fair, the Mark 6s are a bit easier because they are essentially set
nice.
poses, set arms.
Magnificent.
See if I can find him a 1/32 Bismarck. He'd be happy as Larry.
And I imagine the new Mark 3s are going to be the same.
Although to be fair, I did buy a pin vise, the little drill. I've got one now.
Yep.
And I bought some brass rods for pinning stuff. I'm not drilling any barrels. You can shove that where the sun don't shine, frankly. But I have been pinning stuff, which I'm very pleased with. I even put in a scaled aerial from a BMP on the back of one of my tanks, which I bought online, which I was very pleased about as well.
Like a brass aerial.
Yeah, little brass things that you can buy, little knickknacks. So yeah, call me scale modeler.
It's starting.
Okay. All right. What about you then, Rob? What have you been up to?
Trying to stop my head falling off. I don't know what's up with me at the moment. Part of me wants to just go and get rid of everything and start again.
Yeah.
Other part of me wants to go, no, more, all of the everything, buy everything, print everything, build everything, buy everything.
Isn't that Mr. B's conversation that he has with himself every morning?
Sometimes.
Pretty much. Yeah, but like he's got the time to do it. I don't.
That's true.
So yeah, I don't know what I want to do. I'm having a proper Paddy. Like I've written like list upon list upon list of that'd be quite good, but realistically, it's me. What is the point? It would get Django Reinhardt could count the number of times it'd get used on the fingers of one hand, for Christ's sake.
You guys need to play more. You really do.
But where?
Well, that is.
Well, as I said, we're gonna try and set something up in the new year so we get together and have a couple of big games. And
I've sold my Iron Warriors. They are going to be going, and that's. But I felt intently relieved after getting rid of them. If I'm honest, just because.
The thing is, I
wasn't playing them, and it kind of bugged me that they're just sitting there doing nothing.
Yeah.
When somebody could be using them to play games with, or probably stripping them down and selling them on. But I don't really care.
I think it's because I've sold 3 armies. I'm kind of like, well, I've got more I could sell.
Mm.
I mean, not that 2 of them, the guys have bothered leaving me feedback. Don't worry about it.
You've got the money. What more do you want?
Well, yeah, true. But yeah, so I'm kind of like, right, clear that out. I'm having a proper Paddy about there's just stuff everywhere. Like not just mine, not the wife's, not Hendrix's. There's just stuff everywhere, and my brain's kind of just wants to live in a flat, featureless plane at the moment, and just be kind of like, there is no clutter, there is no stuff, there is no mess. And I realised that I've created at least my own equal 33 1/3% of the mess, at very least.
Very least.
But my brain's just like, get rid of everything and live in a field.
Well, that's good to know, I guess. I mean, there is something cathartic about getting rid of armies, if I'm honest with you. There's also
I've never done it before.
Maybe that's why. I'm basically, if I'm not playing it, it gets sold. And I have kept the Iron Warriors around longer than I would do normally because of the kind of emotional attachment to them. But ultimately, the way I look at it is, if I'm not playing them, I'm not getting enjoyment out of them, then there's no point in having them. They're not just display pieces for me, obviously, because and they were old and they looked ragged. And
they're not for me because mine just get stuck in a case and then left. I've got nowhere to display anything.
Well, maybe just I would just start with one army, 3,000 points, and not go any further, and then see how you get on. To be honest with you, rather than go crazy.
Yeah,
don't do it on me.
I mean, it's easy.
It's
easily done.
I can tell it's massively linked to brain chemistry at the moment.
Yeah, I can see there's obviously some imbalances.
Gollum is chuntering away rather loudly, and yeah, but I will try and do something. My main Golden Demon entry is
we've got Thingamy coming, haven't we? We've got Legio, whatever it is, Malarkey,
Imperialis.
Epic.
Oh, when that comes out, I'll be.
I'm expecting the words. All right, I was expecting the words "tramp" and "chips" to come into play.
I've overused that recently.
Yeah.
There will be intense turgidity that a man in his 40s will be very proud of.
I must admit, I've never got any kind of sexual gratification from models, so I admire you for that in some rather strange way. But there is that, of course, that's coming. So that's good.
Yeah, I think
But
part of it is I've got so keyed up for that and sold stuff to go, right, this is my money for that.
Yes.
To be honest, at our age, getting any kind of that happening.
It's just oversharing.
Maybe this is
hang on.
very diabetes related.
I object. Type 1. I object to the at our age thing to start.
You're
with.
not at our age.
Exactly. So don't start wielding that around left, right, and centre. Like
You're
group.
the whippersnapper.
Yeah.
Anyway,
and proper management, Mr. B. You would have any problems. That's all I'm saying.
Anyway,
I do have another
health podcast.
No, I do have another pill for my depression, which messes with it.
Okay,
fair enough.
All right.
Yeah.
What about games played? So this is where Graham talks for like an hour and a half, and we all just like, all right.
Yeah. Okay.
I'm gonna watch.
I have played 2 games though recently, so.
Well, in that case, I'll make it very snappy because it's so entertaining.
I'm joking.
Jesus Christ! This is
25 to 10.
This is a Horus Heresy podcast. The game is Horus Heresy, so playing it's probably not a bad idea.
You have played quite a bit recently, so I'm looking forward to hearing about it.
I kind of feel that I'm.
How did Heaton go?
It was good actually. So the first game was it was some interesting rules. They were interesting force orgs. So my first game was quite intriguing actually. Was against a knight army with a load of armigers. So there were 2 knights and just all armigers.
Yeah, don't you have to have armigers to fill troop slots before you're allowed to put in a normal knight?
Yeah,
how many is it?
Armigers for 1 Cerastus basically, or whatever the other chassis are.
Yeah, so but it was quite cool. I'd never really played against armigers. And
Moriaxes don't count, do they?
No, they don't, because they've really knacked up the Morax, because it's a more expensive model, but not as good, and you can't use it as a troops choice, which is just mad.
And it's not even in the Knights, is it?
No, it's in the thing.
So anyway, the Knights can't use a Porphyrion.
No, can they not?
No.
Weird. Anyway, I will say this: the armiger. There's one particular armiger loadout which I think is excellent, which is with a melter cannon actually, and a chain, like a big chain fist, and that they move at like 14. So they're really fast.
The Warglaive, yeah.
They're basically on your turn 1, and particularly if you've got a tank army, the last thing you want is something wielding a bloody chain axe.
And their other arm is a melter gun.
Yeah, exactly. So that didn't go quite to plan. Yeah, all tank army versus these things that I can't one shot basically, or particularly kill quickly, did not go very well. But it was a cool looking army, and again, it was an interesting game because I've not played against them before. So, but yeah, I lost that one. It was pretty close, but I still lost. The second one was against Niall's Solar Auxilia.
Niall.
He's lovely playing army, I've got to say. But that was kind of like more tank v tank, so I won that because ultimately Space Marine tanks are probably better than Solar Auxilia tanks en masse, and I was a bit more brave with them. I realised that I was being a bit sheepish. So.
That shouldn't be the case, should it?
What's that?
It should be the Solar Auxilia, yeah.
I think Space Marine tanks should be better than Solar Auxilia because there should be less of them, but you know how it is. But I was being a bit more brave, so basically driving the Predators and sort of getting to the point with the army now where I'm like, okay, I know I'm going to have to lose this unit, and it's 3 tanks, but they'll take something out, which means the other units will live longer. And that seemed to work pretty well, actually. So, sort of sacrificing units to, have a longer strategic survival worked well. So I won that game, which is pretty cool. We had the, what's the tank? Macarius?
Oh, yeah, the Vulcan or the...
No, the tank hunter one.
Vanquisher.
The Valdor.
Valdor? Vanquisher?
Oh, yeah, the Valdor tank hunter.
Yeah, but it's not all that, to be honest with you. And I kind of pretty much dispatched that fairly quickly. Didn't do a great deal. Niall took a tank commander, and they've changed the Cognos Signum now. So previously the Cognos Signum used to be able to, any unit within 6 you could boost the ballistic skill of.
Yep.
So, but you can't now. If you have a Cognos Signum, you can only boost the ballistic skill of a unit that you're in.
Ooh.
So with the tank commander, he has to be in the same unit as the thing he boosts, which normally he would be with 2 other Solar Auxiliary tanks, but you can't boost the ballistic skill of another tank.
Oof.
So yeah, he thought so that I think affected that particular unit quite badly because he was hitting on 4s all the time rather than hitting on 3s. So yeah, that was good. It was a great fun game.
And that is a world of difference.
Yeah, he used Deathcore Krieg. They looked fantastic. Really nice. Nicely painted.
Oh,
up.
yes. No, I've seen the army. I think I played with the army in Manchester, didn't we?
Oh, yes, we did. Yeah.
Yeah, we did.
Really nice looking tanks he's got. But yeah, they fell under the combined shooting power of the Ultramarines, which was significant. And then my final battle was against Gareth. And for those of you who listened to the show for a few years, Gareth comes to Company Legends, plays pretty tough lists, to be honest with you. And I don't think I've actually ever beaten him. But today was the day where I beat him, which I was very pleased about.
I was speaking to his wife today about Pokemon.
Okay. So I kind of I've sort of worked out a good strategy for dealing with a 10-man las cannon squad. Particularly for
demolish a cannon on the head.
No, what you have to do is you have to basically tease out that reaction. So you've got to shoot them and shoot them with multiple things, or have things that could shoot them and kill them, because then people are thinking, oh my god, what am I going to evade, or what am I going to shoot back with, and effectively kind of go along your line until that point. So but what happened is he didn't do a evade or a return fire to my Dreadnought. My Dreadnought's got 2 plasma cannons.
Oof.
And those are big, now 5-inch blasts with breaching 5+. So 2 of those on top of the laser, las cannon squad just did for him basically, and he didn't get a chance to return fire.
Ouch.
He didn't. He was saving it for the full Mentaurus, who also lined him up. So yeah, a bit more strategy involved, and actually beat him, which is the first time ever. So I was quite pleased about that. Nice. But yeah, overall, I think I came 4th in the tournament of about 10 people. Might be 10 maybe.
You're becoming really dirty then as a player. You have to be to get that result there.
I think you're right. You're absolutely right. But I'm kind of used to playing them, and I like going up there. But again, it isn't as if I'm going there expecting a narrative game. I just want to make that absolutely clear again to people when they say about these horrible lists. Well, it's a tournament, and it's billed as such. It's not
It's a filth fest.
And
it is.
Everybody going into that knows.
Heaton, they play filthy for They
I don't know whether they play like that all of the time, but particularly for tournaments, it's competitive. So you know what you're getting into. I had no problem with it at all. So there was that, and then I had to sort of come back down to earth. I had some more narrative games with Vinny. Solar Auxilia versus Solar Auxilia are a continuing ongoing battle, which is great fun, and it's always a good excuse to lose lots of crazy units that I wouldn't normally use, like Cyclops demolition things.
Hey.
Those kinds of stuff that probably aren't very point efficient, but they're super fun. Trouble is, Solar Auxilia take a long time to play because there's so many of them. So if you're returning fire with 20 guys with las rifles, it's like, this is taking some time. That's the one thing I will say. Solar Auxilia do take a long time to play. And then we had another battle. This one was more Calfee, his World Eaters against my, not World Eaters, Word Bearers against my Ultramarines. Yeah. In that sort of classic ding dong. That was great. And then Mr. B, you can talk about our game. And then I played against another Craftworld Death Guard army. Quite a well proportioned Craftworld Death Guard army. Same again, 10-man las cannon squad. And I kind of pulled the same trick, which is to have multiple things facing them, so you give the player decisions to make rather than them just thinking, I'll just wait and then I'll do return fire against that. they have to think about it, and that's a good way of dealing with him, I think. But yeah, managed to actually win against Craftworld Death Guard, which is pretty cool. I always take that as a moral victory as well as an actual victory. Scorpiuses for Death Guard, just nuts really, because they can move their full movement and still fire their rocket barrage, which means they're still breaching 4+ strength.
I've yet to use mine,
which feels a little bit cheeky if I'm completely truthful. But again, it does say, they're treated as stationary. To be honest with you, I think with Death Guard, they should, if they ever FAQ'd them, they should say it doesn't apply to vehicles, because it's nuts that they can move their tanks so fast and shoot everything without any penalty, when in reality, they're not a fast army. They're not White Scars where you could probably just about accept it, because they're used to
craft whatever I used to do. It was
exactly
about and have all sorts of
that was their antics. But they were kind of nobbled because their armor wasn't as good and their toughness wasn't as good, whereas these are Space Marines running around like Eldar, which was a bit mental. So I think I'm not bitter obviously, but I think Craftworld Death Guard do need a look at, because they're a little bit too, there's no bad side to them.
You've been my one, no issue.
Well,
unsurprisingly.
Yeah, the Rite of War that makes everything dangerous terrain as well is a right pain in the backside, because it doesn't affect them as well, and their advanced reaction is really good. So 4+ feel of pain, and they can move 7 inches out the way. There's a lot of pluses for the Death Guard, and there aren't a lot of minuses that I've come across as of yet, as I think Chris will probably also agree. And again, Overwatch, Fury of the Legion,
just nonsense.
Normal shooting, Fury of the Legion, return fire, Fury of the Legion.
Yeah,
move.
And then some of those things make sense to me. I
think it should be
freedom of movement is just
crazy for that particular. I'd rather they had +1 toughness, to be honest with you.
They're a better
toughness 5.
They're a better quick army than some of the quote unquote quick armies.
Yeah,
they're faster than White Scars, for crying
They are.
out
They're
loud.
better. They would out.
I mean, they're not faster. They just can fire more when they move fast.
But it's fundamentally from a game point of view, it's exactly the same effect.
Yeah, but which is being able to move and then do nothing about it is kind of pointless. Being able to move and then just go, oh, by the way, I'm treating this as if I didn't. They're a more mobile, effectively a more mobile army than the White Scars, which is just.
They should never have given vehicles the Legion of Astartes special rules.
There's an argument there, and they never used to, did they? Basically, it was infantry.
No, they were all separate things. It was just
infantry
or
Dreadnoughts get them. I don't think even Dreadnoughts got them. So but I think that is a problem, because, like I say, their vehicles are actually they're better than fast vehicles, I think, because fast vehicles you can only fire 2 weapons. These vehicles can fire. So basically, if you've got a Spartan, you can drive it 12 or whatever its maximum move is and fire all 3 of those las cannons, with impunity, no problem. It's just mental. And if you had a multi-melter on the top, you could fire that as well for lols. Just no penalties.
Yep.
Anyway, that's my moan about Craftworld Death Guards.
That's our monthly Death Guard segment.
Yeah, that's fine. I'll tell you what, though, the word bearers, their cool dreadnought is pretty cool.
Oh, the Marigal. Yeah.
He's a bit tasty. He's no slouch. Well worth a look-see. Cool. Yeah. That's it.
Lovely model as well. Okay, for myself, I played 2 games this month. I played Russell, who I played the other month. I played against his Alpha Legion.
Oh, yeah. Did you win again?
No, I did not win. I actually lost. How did he
manage to beat you this time?
Lots of dreadnoughts.
Really? How many dreadnoughts? More than 3?
Yeah.
Oh, come on. That should be a rule, shouldn't it?
It's fine.
How many more than 3 was 3?
4.
Okay. It wasn't 6 then.
No.
Still a lot of dreadnoughts.
A lot of dreadnoughts
in the current.
To be fair, I really hammered him last time, so yeah, okay. I'm not surprised he reacted. He went a particularly long way, but yeah, no, to be honest, my dice rolling let me down as per usual. But yeah, it was just like none of my melter bombs went off against the dreadnoughts. The Kratos could not hit for Toffee. Just not the best game for me that night. But that's not to say that it wasn't my bad luck. That was the thing. He played very well.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, I just couldn't put it together on the night. And for a mixture of bad rolling, bad tactics, and just generally, Leroy Jenkins against Dreadnought is not.
Yeah, did you think?
Not
What did
the
you chuck
best
your Black
idea.
Templars into them?
Yes, or with multi-bombs and a squad of
That
10.
would do it, to be honest with you.
Yeah, no, only one hit. And it was like, how on earth did this happen?
Fours, I suppose.
Okay, to be honest, 4 died, with the whole, because the Dreadnought got to attack first. So I lost.
Yeah, of course.
And then out of 6, only 1 hit. And I was like, oh.
Instant death, though, isn't it, against them? For D3 wounds.
Yeah.
If they don't pass the 5+ save, of course. But yeah, Dreadnoughts are so tough to chew through. Like even with a 10-man last cannon squad, and you've got 4 Dreadnoughts, you're going to be able to take 1 Dreadnought a turn, providing that Dreadnought doesn't then by turn 2, like up in your grill.
The only thing that I kind of take from Dreadnoughts is I just can't wait to see how rock hard the demons are going to be when they come out.
Yeah, I mean, we kind of seen a little bit of a hint of that, I think, with the corrupted ones, because they're pretty tough as well. Not quite as tough, but they're still pretty good.
Yeah, they're pretty nasty, but that was fun. And then obviously I played yourself, Graham. That previous game was a Siege of Cophonia mission, and I played you again with a Siege of Cophonia mission. We only got 3 turns out of it though, because I think 3,500 points is a bit much to squeeze in on a club night.
It is, yeah.
I think it's just a bit too much, especially when we've got large lists.
It's an afternoon kind of situation at 3,500 points these days.
It's good. It's a good 4 hours a game.
So we had lots of free turns,
and that's even with 4 turns being, because I think it's 4 turns. The maximum is on the Siege of Cophonia missions.
Yeah, I like the Siege of Cophonia missions. They're very tight. They're very fun. Very objective based. They're really, really good. But it was still a struggle to play 4 turns. With that many points. And I'll be honest, I am dreading the idea that Scotland is going to ask us to play 3 games in one day, because that's just not going to happen.
Are they?
I don't know. I haven't seen I
think the event pack's out, to be fair.
Yeah, I don't think I saw how many games are scheduled. But I will check, because 3.5 is going to be tough, or it's going to be a very long day.
I look forward to it.
We've done 3. I mean, 3 in a day is doable. It's just...
we've done 3,000, haven't we?
Yeah. With this many points and this edition.
Oh, because it's
if I were going to if we were going to run Company of Legends tomorrow, I'd be strongly suggesting 2,500.
You'd be a fool, and I'd talk you out of it.
Yeah, I think I'd go with 3,000, but bear in mind, with Company of Legends, we have got the luxury of time.
The thing is,
you don't have to go
but
somewhere.
Maybe just one game on the Sunday.
If you're going to an event, 2,500 points is not enough points to take things that like luxury units. Does that make sense?
It does.
Yeah.
That's the thing with that kind of decreasing the. You want, it's like any sort of football team. You want one flair player. You want one luxury player that's going to do very little but makes you happy, and. Yeah, that's what 3,000 points at least opens that window to you. But 2,500 points, you're really kind of going. I can only take essential things.
Yeah, it's very much that.
And then you're not necessarily going to get as much out of the game as you.
No, I think that's true too. So I would probably say 3,000 points for sure.
Yeah. But factor in a bit more time.
I think just maybe 3 games on the Saturday and 1 game on the Sunday, because I think 2 games on the Sunday in this rules would be tough.
3 single games on the Saturday, and then 1 doubles game on the Sunday.
No, yeah, that's not a bad idea.
Yeah.
So 6,000 points aside on the Sunday, because then you've got all day to play it.
Yeah,
but then sometimes you need to, but then again to counter argue against the point, sometimes you need to you need to sort out, I'm trying to work within that analogy, sometimes you need to make the financial fair play work, so you've got to sell your flair player to Saudi Arabia. Never mind. Okay, okay.
Sorry, I literally zoned out for 30 seconds there, came back, and am I on the right show?
Hey, look,
Yeah.
we're allowed to use analogies.
Chris used an analogy, and I tried to expand into it, and it went very wrong.
And the next we know, you're going to be in pieces in a suitcase.
What? Oh no,
What?
no! It's because Saudi Arabia have started their own football league, and now they're just buying like all these, players from Europe for like stupid amounts of money.
Yeah. Sounds good.
Turns out the character.
Hey,
from
look,
Cannonball
if there's a
Run
Saudi
wasn't that
Arabian Heresy
inaccurate
scene
after all.
that wants
Yeah,
for podcast.
wants to sign up. Yeah, sign us up. Yeah, we're fine with that. No problem. Very good. Okay, cool.
Right, okay.
Okay, so that was games
So,
played.
games
what-
played. Next month's commitments, then, chaps. What we're gonna do?
I'm
gonna
going to
have
get
this.
my head together.
This last cannon squad is going to be done, and I've got a rotor squad cannon squad for the fist that I'd like to get done as well.
Okay.
Okey-dokey.
Yeah, I think I've got the things that I need to paint for this event. After that, I think I'm going to start a project with Rob actually, which we'll talk about probably in the PaintShack. Yeah, which we're going to record tomorrow. So
Oh,
yeah,
excellent! So I'll have a paint shack to shove in.
you certainly will.
Yay! People have been asking about that.
Have they?
Yeah,
Okay, cool.
I think someone asked. Was it on Patreon or Twitter or something?
Nobody asked on Patreon.
Yeah, it might have
Okay, might mean Twitter. Okay, fair enough.
I did get the message. But that might just mean you got to it first, so it didn't flag up when I logged in. But I've not logged in for a while.
Yeah. Okay. Awesome. So, that's that. So, what about you, Rob? What are you going to do next month?
Get my head together,
That's a good plan. Sometimes that's what you need to do.
because that will result in 28mm scale progress of some description. So
What about-
I will do that. I have my plaque for my.
Oh yeah, I saw that. It's lovely.
Thing, my Macarius entry, which I am just fishing out of my drawer here. Where did I put it? Oh no, I'll show it on tomorrow's PaintShack anyway. Custom made by the chaps at Battle Bling.
Nice.
Bit larger than the usual one. I've found it, but the claw doesn't want to get it out the drawer. There we are. So I have a large plaque there that says "All Quiet on the Eastern Fringe." A little pune or play on words on that to go on my plinth. So I will certainly have that done, and then that project can get stuck in a dust-proof box, which I would have bought from Wilco's, but I didn't pay heed to Chris's warning that I should have bought more dust-proof boxes and stuff sooner.
I mean, to be fair, Wilco's closing down. Surprisingly, going to have a surprisingly big impact on hobbyists. I mean, I know a lot of people who get their primer from there, the own brand stuff. Yeah, I get my basing material from there. It's bird sand and bird grit.
The range is probably very similar, isn't it?
The range is slightly different.
I'm getting very
it's
jealous.
down here,
I
isn't
am
it?
getting snuggles and snoggos and getting
He
very
won't-
jealous.
He won't shut up. That's the problem.
I do like a Daki.
He thinks there's biscuits. That's what it is. He feels that there's biscuits and they're kind of in the vicinity, and so as a result, he has to explore to make sure there aren't any biscuits.
And then realise that an almost complete lack of legs makes exploring quite difficult.
particularly on the desk with a keyboard and stuff. So yes. Anyway, enough about my woes of dog.
Right.
Yeah, I guess the range does. I mean, they've got good art. The one near us is quite a big one. It's got a big art section.
I mean, there's a little trading estate about 10 minutes walk from me. It's got a range, a B&M, home bargains.
We also live on an
So-
island, which means sand isn't really in short supply unless you're Chris, in which case your beaches are wrong because what you've done is you've covered them in rocks.
I think you'll find, sir, if you Google West Witterings Beach, you'll see one of the nicest beaches this country has to offer.
I think that's fair. I mean, Little Hampton West Beach is very nice as well.
The London West Beach is also very nice. Yeah.
All I was using was a specific bird sand and not specific, but bird sand and bird grit, because it's two very different, I don't know what's the word.
Teabags now. I'm a teabag convert.
Yeah.
I was concerned what you were going to use as your descriptor then, if I was.
Yeah,
He
I'm not sure
teabags
what
his bases.
Teabags.
grades of sand. Is
But
that?
I do use herbal tea, like the mint tea, 'cause it's slightly greener than your Yorkshire tea.
Yeah, you see, I like that. I like that brown woody look that you get from Yorkshire
Very cool.
tea.
Nice indeed. Right.
And your bases smell nice.
Shall we shift on to State of the Union?
Let's do that.
Aye. Yep.
So next up is our State of the Union, where we take a look at the wider horizon that is our gaming enjoyment and look for areas usually of tangential nonsense that may or may not fit into our general appreciation of the hobby as a whole. So first out the bag, Mr. B's got something he wants to talk about.
Yeah, so we got lots of night stuff going on because the Cerastus Night Lancer has come out, and this Saturday, which will probably be the last Saturday after this podcast comes out, we've got the Archon and Acheron. Oh, I can't remember the names now. Acheron, and coming out. So we've had articles on how they designed the Cerastus Knights, some of the studio paint jobs of both the Lancers and the armed ones, and bits on how they work in the game. So we'll put all those articles up. And we've just seen this today, building the Cerastus Knights, Acheron and Castigator, because the ammo feeds on them are, as Rob puts it, fantastic. And sorry, I just got a phone call there. Had to send it to voicemail. So I mean, the original resin one was.
Who's phoning you at 10 o'clock at night? If anybody phones me at 10 o'clock
those
at
questions,
night,
Mr. B.
I'm like, has somebody died?
Don't ask those questions.
Nobody can phone at that late at night. That's crazy.
Yeah, no, that'll be Megan. She'll be phoning to say I'm off to bed now because she's on holiday this week.
Oh, fair play then. No, that's fair.
Yeah. So I will text her later. But yes, so the old ammo belt used to have to be, you'd have to bend it and stuff with hot water and hair dryers and stuff. But now it's just sort of like, as Rob puts it, absolutely fantastic. Because
you build each separate link in the ammo belt, and then it becomes an articulated, moving piece.
I was thinking it's part glueless as well, so it's so it should be a lot easier. You're not going to have to build it with the plan of putting it into a particular position. You can build it. And
you just run some liquid poly on it once you've got it in place to secure it. But it's not going to be easy. It's going to be.
I'm never buying one. That's what it's going to be.
Yeah, you are. Just bring it down here. I'll build it for you.
Oh, I can't be arsed with that nonsense.
I must admit, I'm like thinking.
Not coming down to see you. That's never nonsense.
Do I want to build the resin ones now, or do I want to build this one? Because these ones do look like they're going to be easier to build because of that. And they're so posable as well from the information you got. All the legs, well, we know from the Lancer, the pistons and stuff are built in two sections to make it completely posable, unlike the existing, Knight.
Pistons are in two sections on the resin one.
Are they?
Yes,
they are.
The real ones. I don't know if yours was sweet and sour or not, but when you buy one from Forge World, the pistons are in a male and female hollow and solid section.
No, the plastic Knight Questoris Knights.
Oh no!
Yeah, they're just in one fixed pose.
Oh, okay, right. See,
every single one of them. But the Lancers were always sort of thingy. But so these, unlike the Questoris Knights, two sections, so they're a lot more posable.
Yeah, but if you're doing a Knight army, you can do it properly now without needing 2 second mortgages, and you can just have all Cerastus other than your mandatory armatures, because
the armature tax.
The armature tax you keep to a minimum, and then you go, what super shiny sexy models can I buy? And you go, well, that's the Cerastus then. Crack on.
Yeah, but which
tune into PaintShack tomorrow, folks, or later on in the episode to hear my full thoughts on that.
Yeah, I would love to. I'm looking forward to it.
Now you've got more choice with the Cerastus, though, so you're not limited to.
I don't like the Acheron head, though. The Acheron head looks biff.
I know, it's a shame they stopped doing the Forge World heads.
Tarot.
Oh yeah, I looked at that actually when we were talking about how to corrupt
Not
a
only
knight.
does he sell plinths that guarantee you to place 10% higher at Golden Demon, he has a fantastic range of conversion parts for knights of all scales.
Yeah.
Disclaimer: nameplates aren't guaranteed to get you any extra places in the Golden Demon or the Crystal Brush.
I don't know yet. I will
let's
be
see.
letting you know how Johnny and Co.'s nameplate does for me. I asked Mr. Tarot for a plinth for my Macarius, but he couldn't make one big enough, so I had to find something from somewhere else.
Oh yeah.
All right, so he designed it, but you had to get it printed elsewhere.
No, it was a weird. It was like a display thing I'd had since I was about 12 that I just took the stuff off it and used it.
Right.
So it's wood rather than resin.
Okay, fair enough. Okay, cool. So moving on to Rob, what have you got to?
I don't know. I've managed to minimise the show notes like a complete plank. Yes. End and the Death volume to be confirmed. Michael's asking if we're angry or happy about this. Personally, I'm happy because the more Anne Dabnett I can get, then the better. We all know how it ends. If there was one bit of the story we knew when it first started, it was the bit that's been written at the moment, and it is.
I was there the day Horus killed the Emperor.
Yeah, it's going to be face meltingly good.
Do they not go for a picnic at the end and discover that friendship was in them all along?
Yeah,
because they're not wishy-washy, full of nonsense. They stabbed each other with mind bullets.
You're going to be so disappointed at the end. It's not.
Yeah. That sounds like a Mr. B ending, though, doesn't it? Well, I think we'll roll a dice and see who wins.
Yeah, let's just be nice. Yeah. Can't we find the good in it? No, he was a git. Shank him.
I mean,
I love Mr. B's optimism. If more people like Mr. B, the world will be a happier place. Let's be honest.
My old mate John, who's sadly no longer with us, had to do he didn't have to do. He did a video on explaining the lore of Warhammer in a minute. And it was basically, he did say that they killed each other with mind bullets and stuff.
Your mate John wasn't cynical Brit, was he?
Yeah.
All right. Okay. I remember seeing that video.
Yeah. Megan went to school with him and his sister.
Uh-huh.
I used to play Warhammer with him back in the day. But
that's a computer game person that I've heard of.
He sadly passed away now.
Yes.
Yeah, cancer. So
total biscuit.
Yes, amazing guy. Though it was hilarious because there was this curry restaurant that opened in Newcastle, and they had all these billboards in town that just said Akbar is the king of curry, and then he just took out a couple of adverts outside in James's Park that said Total Biscuit is king of the internet, just for a laugh, and it was like,
I would have unfortunately gone and had some banners printed that just had the word Admiral written on them, and then got some drawing pins and just stuck them up in random places. So you had Admiral Akbar is the king of curry.
Yep.
It's a trap. I was going to say that would be a very bad, like when you got into the restaurant and it was like, it's a trap.
There is no curry.
It closed in the pandemic. Apparently it was very good.
Such firepower.
Yeah, that's not a line you want to hear in an Indian restaurant at any point. We cannot repel the firepower of this magnitude.
No, that is true. But anyway, we're End and the Death is going to be 3 volumes now instead of 2. I'm fine with it because it gives us more Dan Abnett storytelling, and it's not exactly going to be slow paced. Look what he did with the first one.
That went very fast.
They did unveil the cover. I thought it was completely superfluous because there were pre-existing, stunning, and dare I say better versions of that imagery that had already been done. One of them by the same person who's done this new one, so I'm not ragging on Mr. Skinny Elbows here.
I did quite like Alan Bly's was not Alan Bly.
Have you been talking the Heresy on a Ouija board, mate?
Oh, name John Blanche.
Right. Yes.
response, because he responded to the post and he was like, I have no idea who painted these other two, but I painted this one. It was just like,
yeah, like that. That's. I get that they're trying to keep them in, sort of similar, so it's the same artist doing them all.
You've got to remember this is going around a book as opposed to being a singular piece of art. So that's why
in that 3-dimensional.
Yeah, you've got to split it down the middle, and
and the back bit will get covered in blurb anyway.
I did quite like
all the major details are to the right hand side of all the images, because that's where that's the cover.
I did quite like the the version that they put on the book a few years back with all the feathers and stuff. I did quite like that version.
I like that. I like that meme that it's just that picture with a load of dice on it with wands written on, with wands all over it. Every time I see that meme, I think if Michael played Blood Angels, and it's
that literally would be the situation.
So yes, I'm happy about it. I'm not massively bothered if other people aren't, because I like books. So
I'm happy. It's just
I don't get people going, oh, they're trying to rinse this for more money. It's like, I doubt they've said to Dan Abnett, you need to write another 1,000 words, or you need to write another 700 pages. Is that okay?
97 anthologies.
The books as long as he as long as he wrote it. There's no point in sticking a tome out, because people are going to be. I'm more interested in buying 3 books of 700 pages than I am of one book of 2,500 pages. I just no one's going to carry that on the train, are they?
No. And like I say, it's quality stuff, right? So it's not as if it's filler.
Yeah. It's not Ruinstorm or Damnation of Pythos or any of those nonsense things.
People are going to moan, aren't they? Whatever you do,
of course they are.
Because it's Games Workshop, and they view it as they're making money.
I commented on, somebody posted something the other day on. I had a quick sneak back onto the Instagram to see what was happening, and I saw a fella had posted about 40k and the GW universes are just a patchwork of plagiarism and IP theft. And then I had a quick look at his profile before I replied, and literally his entire profile is AI generated cyberpunk pictures. And I was like, you're kind of undermining your argument, really, when literally everything you've posted, Herman, is AI generated imagery. It's like, are you crediting Ridley Scott or Harrison Ford, or where's all this coming from?
It was interesting, because in the whole AI art thing is like D&D Wizards have been caught out a few times now using AI art for things, and some of their artists using it. And there's a game coming out. I can't remember what it's called.
Terraforming Mars.
Is that one or something else? But they're using AI art.
Yeah, it's an expansion to
it. It can't be copyrighted.
And
okay, cool. So we're just gonna. So everyone's like, fine, we'll just steal it then.
It's an expansion to Terraforming Mars. From Stronghold Games. Terrible person owns the company, so whatever. But my favorite comment so far has been, right, okay, so if AI can't be copyrighted, you won't mind if I just buy a knockoff from Temu then?
Yeah, can't be copyrighted AI art, so it's a big old problem.
Totally cool.
Yeah.
Who's next out the bag?
Right, so what can be copyrighted? Who knows? Brutal Cities are a company that makes some really nice terrain down under. Down under.
I had some really nice terrain down under once. It seems to have got worse over the years, if I'm honest.
Didn't we was there a company that wanted to sponsor us that dealt with dealing with the terrain down under?
They didn't. I put my hand up. I put my fist down on that and said no. I'm not having. I refuse to be associated with this nonsense.
Yes. It was a male grooming company, wasn't it?
So they made.
Yes.
Was, yeah.
We shan't
if you ever are in need of focusing your brain, if you do try and sort of sort out the creme brulees with a straight blade razor, that is a wonderful way of forcing yourself to concentrate.
Why?
Because I've got a straight blade razor.
Trapper Biotech range from Brutal Cities. They've got some bundles and things.
Brutal Cities, mate.
It looks relatively, if I'm honest, Mr. B, and you've got an eye for terrain. This looks bang average for $70.
Yeah, you've got an eye for terrain.
70
I
Australian
suspect you might
dollars.
have an infection.
For Australian dollars, that's not too bad, but it's not great for us because I can't imagine what the postal prices are going to be. But yeah, for you, if you're down under,
they
looks fine.
are empty rooms and they're square. If you're doing something,
If you're playing Marvel Crisis Protocol, perfect.
Yeah, pretty much. Or you're doing Judge Dredd, also.
Or Judge Dredd, yeah. There's not enough reference to Chopper Lives or Bob Monkhouse on there, but other than that, you could sort that out.
Yeah.
Do that yourself.
All right, fair enough. All right, Graham, what have you got for us here? We still have Graham?
He's sorting the dog, I think.
All right, do you want to take this one, Rob, then?
We covered this last time.
Oh, we did? Okay, I'll just cut that out.
One.
Okay, right, yeah, okay. All right, so some more models for Militia coming from War Games Atlantic. The Sneaking Sneak Feet, a.k.a. Hobbits. So these look quite cool. If you want to do Militia, they've got hairy feet.
Vertically
are they hard
challenged
fits
Militia.
or are they
Proud feet.
Yep, you got
hard fits or hobbits? What we're talking here.
Yeah, you got your various bits and bobs. Your obligatory frying pan with 2 eggs in it, and forks. So yeah, looks all good.
It's not a nice bit of bacon. It's nice tomatoes. Put it out, you fools.
Yep.
So do you have a breakfast every turn?
Yeah, quite
Sorry?
possibly.
Have a breakfast every turn.
They're quite cool. Them, I like them.
Yep.
Okay.
War Games Atlantic do seem to come out with some interesting stuff.
Yeah, Cult of Paint are doing a lot of their box art for them now, aren't they?
Yes, that's quite cool. Okay, cool. Right. Okay. So back to Chris then. No, Rob.
Yes, it is me. Sons of Horus. Weapon upgrade pack. Umbra pattern bolters, Bane strike bolters, some Corsair power axes, and a Corsair power tabard. Look at this. Somebody's been perusing the armories for the names of different weapons. I do like it. 2-handed power axes. They are rather one of them is a 2-handed power axe. That's rather
pretty good. It's pretty good
rather
weapon,
sexy.
Actually. I think the Corsair power axe actually breaching. I think it's 5s or 4s. 5s. I think it's 5s. So pretty useful initiative.
The Bane strike bolters look pretty cool. Umbra pattern, all right. Whatever.
Yeah, the Bane strike bolters do look cool. I mean, considering that I actually had to go and buy silencers to put on top of them to get mine to look like that, I'm like, but these are quite expensive, aren't they? There's only 5 in a pack.
I'd imagine they'd be like 18 quid knowing.
For 5.
Well, I'm not a massive fan of how everything in Sons of Horus now is dripping with lodge medals. I thought the point was you got a lodge coin. Basically, this is like you've killed 2 guys from your own side because you've got 2 lodge coins.
No, these are the coins for blinding for death coins. When they die, they put coins in their eyes.
But they're covered in them.
Yeah, I know, because
these guys are wandering around like Scrooge McDuck.
They obviously expect to kill quite a few people, but it is a bit. There's a lot more than normal now.
One thing that kind of bugs me as well. You've got the 3 power axes there, and you've got 2 of them have the same head. One of them has a different one. Why?
Good question.
Why are they not all the same?
One of them's for a Terminator, and 2 of them for normal guys, and one of them is the Tabar.
Yeah.
So the one I hadn't spotted the different size hand for the Terminator. So why are the 2 power armored ones got different shaped heads? That proper messes with my OCD.
I thought you'd prefer that because they're kind of a bit more
uniform. It's mass produced uniformity. It's like you need it for hundreds of thousands of guys. So it's like bang done. We're not clarting about with 16 different variations and that more bendy one. No,
I mean I've just realised, of course. Yeah, you're right. The big Hulk hand is only good for a Terminator. So if you've got a normal squad of, say, Reavers, and you want to give them, because they can all take
Power axe.
these, not power axes in particular, but these, I think they can all take power weapons, a bit like your grey.
Yeah.
They cost more, obviously, because they were traitors. But yeah, they're that means you get 2 in a pack. Or you could use the tab after 2. But the thing is, this is a bit of a gripe. Mark 6 looks daft with a big axe.
You think?
Yeah, I think it looks stupid. It doesn't look right. It just doesn't look right at all.
Yeah.
Well, they should work for Mark 3 though. So
Yeah, they should do, actually. That's a good point. And if you had a Sons of Horus head, it would look okay. But with the beaky head, I just don't associate, and maybe it's just me, I don't associate the beaky head with close combat, if that makes any sense. I always kind of think they're...
No. Well, I mean, assault squads.
Yeah, I guess that's true. But yeah, I don't know what it is. Something about beaky heads that just really annoys me.
Yeah.
And that it just looks a bit daft for me. It just looks, I don't know,
It's like
doesn't meet the aesthetic.
stepping forth onto a battlefield with the most technologically advanced weapons that the galaxy's ever seen. Are you taking a gun? Nah, I'm going to
I'm
take
taking
an axe.
a big axe, yeah. I mean, I think maybe it's the medieval look of the Mark III with the big axe makes more sense. If that,
Yeah, it's more brutal.
Yeah.
it feels more in keeping with whereas the Mark VI is a sleeker armor make.
Mark 6 would look better with a spear or a halberd.
Or
Oh,
something
yeah.
thin and wispy rather than something big and hefty.
Yeah.
Anyway,
no,
we
I
are where
can
we are.
see that. I can see that. All right, back to Chris then.
So look.
What's this? STL?
The good folk are the god folk, Jesus.
Good folk at Fickle Dice Games.
Fickle Dice Games had a Kickstarter set for STLs for a trench terrain set called Gloom Trench 1926.
Okay.
It's good. I liked it.
It's a sandbag trench, and it looks all right.
Looks right, doesn't it?
Yeah, so it's
Looks
not
pretty cool.
actually trenches. Technically, they're revetments.
It's
They're
that
above
right?
ground.
Because they're
it
above
looks
ground
like it's
level.
the same. The what's the line? Wall of Martyrs, or it was for
Yep.
Oh yeah,
40k.
Yeah.
It's that similar. It's that
Yeah.
kind of thing, but sandbags across the front.
Damien would want some for his
those of
Krieg.
you, the-
Yeah, pretty good.
Basically.
Nice
I
spot.
think that looks all right.
If you had a filament,
no,
filament
that's a
printer and
good
you could
idea.
do these in volume for.
Oh yeah. If I'd had a filament printer, I would have bought this STL and I would have just printed a bunch of these up because they would have been great for simple filler terrain.
Mm. Oh, look over there, militia models, fantastic. New Cromlech Grimdark Trench Corps. So look at these.
Can't
bad
imagine
boys.
what that. Let me guess. Are they all
Let me
armed
guess.
with
They've got-
shovels?
Grass masks. Let's have a little look. See,
You'd be
Trench Corps
surprised.
Infantry Squad. Well, they got gas masks on, but they look a little bit more high tech than the Krieg, don't they?
Yep.
Okay,
Bloody expensive.
they are expensive. 33. That's what.
They do tend to be because they're resin and
€33.
So that's what, £33.40 a model.
something like
And the links aren't working.
That's quite pricey.
Oh, are they
Quite
not?
easy.
Oh,
Well, no, on the
Yeah.
Bits of War website, it's
Oh.
Can't you get Cromlech stuff direct from Element? Because they've got. I'm pretty
you
sure
can get some of their stuff. Yeah. It's not the cheapest, but to be fair, it's small run resin stuff. It's
It's quite nice
know,
though.
it is nice.
But I guess
I like
comparing
I
that
like
with the
Fat
Krieg, you'd
Commander
get the
and
Krieg,
Command
wouldn't you?
Squad.
Yeah. I mean, I'd probably get the Krieg.
Well,
for
now
the
that you
same-
can get plastic Krieg,
Yeah. You can get Krieg heavy weapons, can't you?
not in plastic
Not
yet.
in plastic. Oh,
If
okay.
anybody's got a printer, just do a search for red makers if you want Krieg.
Okay.
I mean, if you want generic World War One Germans with
Sure.
more advanced weaponry.
Oh, they've got the kind of Talon geezers, whatever they used to be called. Desert.
Yeah,
Kind of
Desert
Desert
Raiders.
Raiders.
I've got my STLs from Victoria Lamb's Cavalry
Okay.
this week, so I've got my Desert Raiders horses. So I could do 137 cavalry army if I wanted to print one.
Got you.
Yes, awesome. But yeah, no, it's not bad.
It's all right. It's
Yeah. Okay, I had to be calmed down. You had to talk me off the ledge because Games Workshop gave us rule for corrupted knights. Let's be fair, knights are supposed to be noble scions of grand imperial majesty, not these chaos nonsense.
You've not read Vengeful Spirit, have you?
I have. I refuse to acknowledge.
Doom of Molech, rather.
Yeah, they're just one-offs. Honestly, they're just one-offs, mate. They really are. Yeah, you don't see them as they're not a true representation of Imperial Knights. They really aren't. No.
Okay.
I think the only thing that really kept me calm was the fact that they didn't introduce the Rampager, Desecrator, or Abominant with this, and it wouldn't have surprised me if they had. But yeah, no. Chaos Corrupted Knights available at last with an exemplary battle document, and yeah, I was not happy.
This is very good, actually.
I was.
I'm really pleased with this.
Of course you were. Yeah.
Why wouldn't you be happy?
Because knights are meant to be noble.
So are Space Marines.
No, they're brutal monsters.
I'm really pleased. In fact, I'm so pleased with this that I'm going all in on this in a
you are
antithesis
going to Conquer's Deep
of Mr. Ing, so we can have a ding dong.
It's made me want to get my House Tyranna stuff finished.
Yeah, I mean, I think there's some really cool stuff in there, and there's some good guides for how to corrupt your knights, which is basically put some chain on it and chuck some stickers on it. No bother, I can do that every day of the week. And the rules are pretty good as well, so I think that gives them some nice flavour.
You do realise I ain't going to let you go that easy on corrupting them, right?
Well, I've already made them, so bear in mind you're somewhat limited by how much I'm going to faff around with these things because I'm not building anymore.
Wonder what there was a box set that came out a number of years ago, 40k box set, Renegade,
wasn't there? Yeah,
and it had a guide on how to corrupt one of the knights in there and turn it into.
Have they made a specific kit for corrupted knights in 40k?
They have, but it makes chaos specific variants rather than just corrupt the original stuff.
Okay.
The original stuff you're still expected to work with transfers and paint job to do that. They haven't released a conversion kit to make those chaosy.
What you need to do is practice your green stuff skills. Because what you could do relatively simply would be to green stuff over the panels on the knights, and then you can use what it's setting, use it to adhere horns and stuff coming out of the green stuff. And stuff. Yeah, that's probably going to be your easy. If Rob's going to set you a minimum requirement of how weird it has to look, and they're already assembled, that's kind of going to be, I think, your easiest way of doing it.
A bloke who lives near us, Ian, I think his name is, he's done a bunch of corrupted knights and titans, but they're all very nurgly, which I suppose is a bit of a cop-out because that's easy to do for corruption.
I mean, bear in mind that I'm talking late Heresy, not early 40k. So
yeah, but
the level of corruption wasn't massive, I guess, unless it was at the siege specifically. What's that? The mating call of a marmoset? What the hell?
I would read whatever. Which book is it? One with all the Titans in.
Titan Death.
No. Is that the one for the? Is that the Siege with the Titans in?
Yeah, Beta Garmon.
Okay.
No, the actual the Siege.
Oh, the Siege one.
Mortis.
Mortis,
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Stuff's. Yeah.
So I'm sort of thinking of adding corruption into the mix from Sons of Horus, giving them something a bit different.
Yeah.
On the one hand, that
once you get to this, once you get to the siege, like a lot of things are worse than I think people think they are.
To be honest, once you get to the siege, you've basically got Khorne Berserkers and Plague Marines.
Yeah, exactly. So the corruption bites hard.
It's like when you see someone who says, "Oh, I want to use the Khorne Berserker kits for Heresy," you get people saying, "No, that's what they were like," and I was like, "No, we'll read a Siege Terror book."
Fair enough. Thank you, Rob. a minimum entry level because that's not going to work very well. I mean, I was okay with decals. Just
that's just okay with decals. Yeah.
To be honest, you can do a lot.
They're your models. Do what you want.
If you are doing decals, you can do an awful lot just by weathering over the decals. So, like, do the sponge weathering, with the decals in place, so it looks like they've been scratched off and stuff.
Or just actually scratch them.
Well, yeah, that also works.
Get some chipping stuff.
There's options.
Get a Brillo pad to and just chip a bit off them.
Yeah, it depends what type of Chaos God you're also going down, because Nurgle is really easy. Khorne, pretty easy as well.
Probably Khorne.
And
so
then
get a chitin.
When you start getting into, say, Tzeentch and Slanesh, then it's a bit more difficult.
Yeah, they can do one. It's going to be Khorne.
Yep. You just may as well order some hentai models from Japan and just pinch some of the tentacles.
Tentacles.
You go free diving for squid off the coast of Cuba, and then you
that seems cheap.
Pickle them in formaldehyde, bring them back, and then you stick them on.
Freeze dry them in liquid nitrogen.
Yeah.
To get the requisite rigidity.
Pressure.
I'm sure
them in resin to, like, what's that German artist who does like plastic kits or whatever it is, like human corpses.
I know the one.
All the nervous systems and the capillary systems. Basically, you do that with actual tentacles.
Bodyworks. Was that in Casino Royale?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway, who's next?
No idea anymore.
That's
that fine album.
No, it was great.
It's Rob.
It's me. It is me. Something I got so excited about. I was exiled to Milton Keynes for a weekend and had to sleep in a tent with not with other excitable middle-aged men, just near other excitable middle-aged men. Thank you very much. There was plenty of booze on the go as well.
Nice.
So the next book from GW for the Age of Darkness will be an Exemplary Battles Volume 1. Hardback book, updated rules and scenarios featuring Night Lords, Iron Warriors, World Eaters, Ultramarines, Salamanders, the latter of whom are getting all new Sanctifier squads. Probably something fire related, no doubt.
Probably.
Everybody at Edge Towers is a bit frothy about this because it's going to have modelling, kit bashing, painting guides to help hobbyists everywhere. Yes, I agree with this. If the word slap chop appears, I'm going to be exiled to the tent.
I was going to say, define frothy.
Define interested.
And everybody.
Walk on by.
Fine.
I think there could be some good stuff in here, and I wonder whether they're going to do a reset on certain things that are particularly in the exemplary battles like Star Killers. Give them a little. Oh, we're going to redo the rules and instantly make them.
Marines with las cannons are limited to 0 to 1 per army. Dreadnoughts 0 to 1 of each type per 3,000 points.
Yeah, I think.
It depends if they're all new exemplary battles, which.
I think they're the old ones. They kind of redo them.
Yeah, I got the feeling they're doing the old ones, but as proper book stuff.
Salamanders are getting new units then.
I mean, the Salamanders aren't.
It implies that
to be honest. Well,
it implies that everybody else is getting old units.
Yeah, interesting to see what they do, because you're right. Unless you're playing those armies, they're not going to mean a great deal. But this does say there's something in there for everybody in the fluff, doesn't it?
Yeah, I mean, they're not the only people getting something new. You know, the Emperor's Children have got something for some purple lizard fella.
Oh yeah, he looks great, as we talked about last week, I think.
He's got his rules in there now.
Yeah,
and I think his points cost as well.
Kinky McFlap.
Yeah. Tube sock Henry, as we call him.
Yeah, tube sock Henry. Just don't ask what's on the inside of the sock.
Yeah.
But the rules for him look pretty good.
So far, I mean, we haven't seen a great deal of them. A couple of bits and bobs, but yeah, we don't know what the full.
And a couple of attacks.
Yeah. All the rest of it is.
+3 AP1 unwieldy sundering blows.
Unwieldy means Initiative 1, though, isn't it? Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's like Power Fist type thing.
Random question, Chris,
rough.
actually. Where would one source power talons for non-Aquilon type chaps?
I don't know.
All right.
Is the honest
That
answer.
was short and sweet.
Sorry.
Answer that question. Not a clue, mate.
Yeah, I don't know. I would, because there's a problem with using lightning claws insofar as the scale is slightly out when you're trying to attach them. Probably what I would be inclined to do if I was that way inclined would be either to hope that someone third party has made them, or use power fists and just attach 3 claws to them.
And sharpen the fingers up a bit.
Yeah. Just so it's, because that's what lightning claws are, is power fists with staggers at the end, basically. So.
Yeah.
Yep. Okay.
But yeah, I haven't seen an actual third party kit for any custodies weapons, actually. Even on Etsy and places like that.
Okay.
So,
Because they're more curled, they're more like Raven's talons, aren't they? They're more.
A bit, yeah.
The old cataphracts
Unless you can
ones
get
are a bit
them.
like that,
Well,
aren't they?
you might be able to get them.
All right, Cults 3D to the rescue.
Yeah, I was going to say, I'm sure there'll be some kicking around.
Yeah.
But I've not looked at them, so I couldn't say one way or another.
Yep.
Okay.
But
What's next?
William power things. Pretty
Chris,
cool.
I was distracted him, sorry.
Hello. Right, and the opinion of this next one was full of praise. Apart from me, yeah. The new Brutal Mark III Trade Champion Forge World. Apparently he looks amazing, and see him being added to many armies. These are Mr. B's words, not mine, and I'm not fussed by him.
I think he looks great. I like him.
I don't like the helmet, I don't like the chest piece, and I don't like the backpack.
Apart from that, it's great.
Apart from that,
I'm a fan.
I think it's good. Yeah, I think it's a really good model.
I'm looking forward to this. Yeah. I'm guessing this means at some point we're going to
I
get
haven't got to buy him. His son's a Horus. So.
I'm guessing at some point we're going to get a Master of Signals so they can stop making that pack.
Yeah, I guess so,
Yeah,
because
probably.
that's currently the only one that's kind of holding that up, isn't it?
Mhm.
Okay, cool.
I just think that head, if you Google Megatron Transformers film, the heads are interchangeable. The face is the same. I think that's where that's sort of where I get my dislike from.
Well, good to know. Avoid Transformer references in any design going forward, Games Workshop, or else you're going to incur the wrath of Chris.
Yeah,
Heaven forbid.
Specifically the film, the Michael Bay movie ones.
They were pretty bad.
They were terrible.
pretty bad.
Not the original.
Walking out of a film, it was the first Transformer film was just awful. But anyway,
I know. It felt like my childhood had been.
is that the one where Megan Fox is in it and just kind of flaps
It
around?
is, yes.
Yeah, okay, yeah. Well, there you go.
It is doing the one thing that she can do. Just
Yeah, she's
where
drenched
She
in
does
baby
in
oil
every
and does
film
everything
she's
in slow
that
motion.
involves Michael Bay.
Yeah. Very good.
And
Okay.
honestly, have you seen the new Mortal Kombat game with her in it?
No, I haven't.
Oh, she's just awful.
Not a fan of fighting games.
Oh, fair enough. But yeah, she plays one of the characters in Mortal Kombat, and she's just dreadful.
I've heard people have said she's terrible. Okay.
It's like, honestly. All right, so we're going to talk about
Is that Mortal Kombat 1?
Yeah,
Right.
yeah. She's just dreadful. Yeah. So we're going to talk about small news now. So we're going back to Chris.
Yeah.
And
Back to Chris.
yeah, back to Chris.
It's going to kill things off quickly. Imperialis has been delayed into an unspecified date. Rob was secured and given alcohol and given a bit of wood to whittle to calm him down. So yeah, I mean, we'll get it at some point, but we're just gonna just continue to get excited, and it's interesting seeing how they're incorporating all the because they had the in case you put it in here. No, they're saying how Imperialis is Aeronautica and stuff's going to transfer into it and things like that. So
Yeah.
been a few articles about that recently, so that was cool.
Yep.
Nice.
So, it's coming. We're just going to wait.
Yeah, don't want to wait.
Looking good. Cool. Right. Warcom did an interview with Darren from the studio on all about how to debigulate TM the models. So if you want to interested in how that design process works, head on over and have a look at the article.
Yeah, it's actually quite interesting the way it talks about how, for like it talks about the Malkadorn, one of the key design cues being the rivets, and how you just can't have the rivets at the normal size in 8mm. You've got to exaggerate them a little bit, but you can't exaggerate them so much that they look like they shouldn't be there.
Mm-hmm.
So it's quite interesting in that respect.
Yeah. Oh, good.
Nice.
Okay. In addition to the existing
Actually, what
Titanic,
is slightly
sorry,
weird is the Sakaran Omega. The las cannons, the plasma cannons are round the wrong way.
Yeah, they're not.
They're flat rather than vertical, which is interesting because, actually, what is that? That's normal Predator cannon, isn't it? Yeah, plasma, and then it's the las cannon. But yeah, weird. I wonder if the plastic version of that kit is on the horizon, but with flat plasma cannons.
It would not surprise me, and that would actually be rather welcome.
Great
Would
tank.
it?
They're shorter as well.
I think it looks super cool when you have it.
The other way around.
Yeah,
I'm with you.
having it flat, I think, makes it look a bit.
Bit naff.
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
But we'll see. In addition to the existing Titanicus kits for scenery, GW are giving us tiles for it and a ruined building kit. So add variety to your battle bling sets.
Nice.
Too late. I've already got plenty of terrain.
Okay, fair enough.
I mean, admittedly,
He was trying to tie it in with the advert there, I fear. He was doing a clever bit of marketing that you've just basically pissed
It
all
literally
over.
says in there, battle bling advert to go here.
Yeah, sorry. Do you want to redo that bit for the edit then, Mike?
No, it's fine. I'll edit it. Yeah, it'll be fine. Yeah.
Sorry, Johnny.
Also, just going back to the Amiga.
Yes.
Actually, the cannons are completely different to how they are on the resin 28mm scale one, because the backs of them are different as well.
Okay.
Cool. Where they connect to the thing.
Interesting.
Yes.
Tiles look good though.
Yeah.
I
suddenly thought of something as well that we haven't got in here that we should have in here.
What's that?
The announcement between GW and Weta.
Oh yeah, we did put that in, did we?
1/6 collectibles coming from Weta Workshop, who, considering, pinched an awful lot of GW's design staff in the early 2000s. I'm super giddy about that, to see what they release.
I have a Weta Workshop glasses cloth somewhere.
So
there you go.
I will be giddy about that. But anyway, going back to the Epic stuff, some announcements to make Graham happy, and that is that the Kratos, the Baneblade, and the Rhino
Not so much the Rhino, but I'm
going to
very
be coming
happy.
boxed in multiples for Legions Imperialis. So lots of tanks. The Baneblade looks cool in little dinky scale.
It does.
Rhinos, obviously, look at Ace. Kratos, I don't know. My brain's still going, it's new. Don't like it.
Never
Shy
liked
away
the
from it.
Kratos with the Dozer Blade. I think it looks daft. But
Yeah,
it's not a bad looking tank.
the Dozer Blade thing, I'm not sure I can get
I
past.
really like that. I really like the Kratos. It's a lovely tank.
I do as well, but I don't like it with the Dozer Blade.
Fair enough.
I think I'm kind of airing now on that. I think they had a sneak peek of some of the. There were some naughty people releasing some rules, weren't there? And I think there is a all armored company somewhere on the horizon for Solar Auxilia, not for the Marines. So
But we know they only released the rules for one faction that we saw.
So I might be going Solar Auxilia after all.
I'm going both.
Okay.
If I do it, I'll go Solar Rocks because 100 given Rust is always going to look infinitely sexier than 100.
I'm going to stick with Marines.
Okay.
But I'm sensing the possibility of a box swap.
I'm going both ways, and I'm not even scared to announce it.
No, fair enough. You do you, my friend.
I will do.
Okay.
I'm probably mostly going to concentrate on Titans, to be honest.
I've been there, done that.
Yeah, I just want to finish off my Titans and my Knights.
I've got Knights, that'll do. Fantastic. All right, very cool. It's all looking really exciting.
To be honest, it's less Titans and more Knights.
Okay.
I just can finish off the collection of Knights.
So I'm just on the Weta website. Mm-hmm. The one ring that they do, obviously of Lord of the Rings fame, in solid 18 karat gold at nearly 5,000 US dollars.
Right.
Is quite frankly one of the biggest rip-offs I've ever seen in my life.
Yeah, not a lot of gold for that amount of money.
Yeah, but it's not like you can get. It's not like you can get Bob Ross's. Okay, that's Action Artist. It's not like you can get Bob Miller's Jewelry Co. of Brighton to make it, can you? Because it's a copyrighted,
Who would know though if you just did the Elven thing on the inside?
I'm not going to say you could or you couldn't, but
there's a possibility.
Even so, it's a lot of money for what that is. Whereas
the weaponry that,
in fact, it's not made to order.
I like some of their dioramas that they did. There was a really cool one with thinking the Dead Marshes, which had the kind of under the water bit and Frodo falling in.
Oh yeah, it's still there. Low stock. End of line. $2,599.
Is that for the diorama?
That's the Dead Marshes one.
Yeah.
That's not going to be. Now imagine that with a Warhammer tax on it.
Ooh, on a silver chain as well. Jesus Christ! Absolute fortune.
£2,500. I'm going to buy it now. No, I'm not.
Did anyone get off the road the diorama for the?
No, I bottled it.
No, I get me. I like the idea of it.
I didn't think I could do it.
Tangent alert.
Yep. Okay. Right. Fair enough.
Mr. B will talk forever about buying tats. As soon as we're talking about
it, just annoyed me. That was all.
It's a fair point. They
also gives you a shit guide of how to size your finger as well.
Yeah, core concepts of the new game, which look pretty cool according to Mr. B. Core concepts. Yep. Okay. Oh yeah. Demi company. Compulsory detachments. Support. Core. That looks like infantry. Okay. Fair enough. Nonsense. Right. Okay. Pretty cool to Mr. B. Somewhat concerning. Robert.
Yes. Sorry, I got
wetted.
By the way, I was looking at the Balrog statue.
Very nice.
Yes. So we are.
Do they still do any of the swords? Just out of interest.
Eh?
Do they do any of the weapons?
You can buy them. An Elvish blade is about £2,000, but it is made by the same guy who made the proper ones, and you can sharpen it to be like a razor if you want. It's a proper piece of kit.
Wow!
And the swords I buy
after I buy the Spitfire, one of the first 5 things I would buy would be one of them.
My mate Paul did get Sting from them.
Nice.
To cut his wedding cake.
That seems like a very good excuse to buy that.
So absolutely. We're getting a rundown on how these Legionis Imperialis armies will work. Now, I haven't actually gone through this article yet because it has lots of words and lots of stats, and my brain just went soup. But basically, Marines are going to need to work kind of like combined arms. You can't just infantry everything because you get spanned by tanks. You can't tank everything because you get spanned by infantry, etc., etc., etc. Saying like how Legion Kratos Squadron 150 points, 2 Legion Kratos, 60 points for another 110 for another 2, 200 points for another 4, so 350 points, and you've got 6 Kratos. And Graham's getting the fizz in the background.
No, I'm just looking at Solar Auxiliary Armoured Company. Now we're talking.
I'm just opening that one up now because for some reason they're all on separate links. What are you doing, GW?
They're all different articles.
Oh, that would be why.
Yes, there's one on the one on the solar. There's one on the airplanes.
Solar Auxiliary Armoured Company. So armoured companies with a hammer, consisting of a dedicated tank squadron, is commanded by a seasoned veteran. When assembled in number, the mass ranks were capable of grinding all resistance beneath their treads. So, an armoured company is 3 battle tanks and 1 extra, which could be another battle tank, an artillery tank, or air support. It's not a lot.
So I'm just looking at the.
Oh, hang on.
So Lehman Ross Strike Squadron is 4 tanks. Lehman Ross Strike is 4 tanks. So you can have 10 tanks in a squadron.
Yep.
Yeah.
For an additional 220 points.
Magnificent.
10 tanks for 220 points. They say it's going to be a 3,000 point game. You are going to get your 100 Lehman Russes.
Points. It's 395 points for 10 Demon Russes, basically. Because the squad base value is 175 points.
Right, and then plus 220.
Yep.
And then plus 220.
So you're not going to get to 100 in 3K, but you're not going to be far off.
Nice.
But 6 super heavies for 500 points.
Yep.
Oh, this game's going to be expensive, isn't it?
That's why I'm starting out with Titans.
Well, we've got this right, haven't we?
100 points for a Baneblade, basically.
I'm thinking that combined game that we really want to play, that campaign game, Chris, might be 2025. Let us build up the armies.
I am going to be.
I can't imagine they're going to be super expensive and say you don't have to buy all at once, do you? It'll be little blisters, aren't they?
The things that I've previewed have all been like 4 or 5 in each thing, haven't they, so far?
Yeah, so the Dreadnought box was 4 Leviathans, 4 Derrideos, and was it 6?
Well, the
something like
fire
that.
Support pack, now you mention it, well, now that I mention it, has got 12 tarantulas in it, and 4. No. So they get 12. Oh God, hang on a minute. Let's try and work this out. There are 40 models in the set. It's a Solar Auxiliary Support set. There are 40 models in the kit. So they have 12 rapiers, 12 tarantulas, and then some Cyclops demolition chaps.
28 minis in one box, they say there, but the thing says 40.
Well, yeah. That's what I was
Those Cyclops things must be minute, though.
Oh, yeah.
They're probably... Well, if they're on a assuming 25 mil base...
Yeah, but they'd be massive in comparison to what they are on in the action.
If they're trying to represent
the scale, they've said before, the scale isn't perfect because sometimes you've got to make things a little bigger, a little bit more exaggerated so you actually recognize what it is.
I wonder if they've just taken the kit that they had for the Cyclops demolition vehicle and just chucked it on a base and went, there you go, job done.
Put it
Yeah,
into
the Marine one.
10% and just
The Marine fire support one's four Leviathans, 4 Derrideos, 4 Tarantulas, and 4 Rapiers.
Nice.
Yeah.
Cool.
Wow.
Cool stuff.
Yeah. I finally decided which Legion I'm going to go with, and you're going to groan.
It's going to be Death Guard.
No, Ultramarines.
Ugh.
Of course it is. That makes sense.
Why wouldn't you?
I have no problem with that.
My Titan Legion is already loyalist, so
I mean, look, just if Legio Disco or anything to go by, my my
Jury.
/ militia are going to be so colourful.
It's going to be flares, platforms,
yep.
Yeah, that's
big hair.
How man Googles neon paint immediately.
Yes. So, allegedly, to my personal delight, the Solar Auxilia will be getting a pack of Basilisks and Medusas. Let's hope they're not as terrible as they are in the 28mm game. Then,
Yes.
great looking models like the Solar Auxilia ones do look great. Particularly the Basilisks. The Medusas look a bit stubby, but the Basilisks look really cool in that kind of fully armoured, enclosed thing. But yeah, let's see what they're like.
I think this game is going to be the bomb. It's going to be fantastic.
Okay, what's next, Mr. B?
The Battle Group release for Knights and Titans. It's coming back. I think these kits have both been released before. They're basically armies in a boxes, recycled artwork. They were excellent value in the day. Who knows what they're going to be now? I think back in the day they were £100 each. In the Knight one, you get 4 Lancers, 6 mini Questoris Knights, and 2 of the
Murder Turtles.
Acastics. Yep, Acastics Knights. So as I said, back in the day, these were £99 a pop. And in the Titan one, you've got a Warlord, a Reaver, 2 Warhounds.
Yeah,
Pretty good value.
So those together, that's probably
you get the Warhounds for free.
Yeah, basically, if the price is similar to, I imagine these are going to be maybe 125, but we'll see.
I'll be getting the Knight one straight away because I need more Knights for my Titanicus.
I do need more Knights, but anyway. I don't know if I need Murder Turtles or I'll have to see. I've only got 4 Lancers are the only Knights that I've got, so I need a lot more Knights. All right, yeah, fair enough. I've got 2 Lancers already. Actually, my Knights are fairly threadbare, so I should probably just get this box anyway.
Okay, very good.
So that would be me then, talking about mini planes because mini planes are amazing. One of the main reasons I'm sticking with the definitely doing the Solar Orcs because I'm not a massive fan of the marine planes, but Thunderbolts. Don't know if anybody's ever listened to the show before. You might realise I'm a bit of a fan of a Thunderbolt.
Oh, who wasn't?
The best plane they've ever made.
And the Marauders.
Of course.
The Marauder is definitely for me a close second in the best plane they've ever made.
I am going to be going for some kind of Solar Auxilia, like proper tactical Air Force type job. Many strafage, if that's a thing. But yeah, cool. It just goes through how they work a little bit and explains the interceptor rule. So the Auxilia Avenger, which is nice because that's a Mechanicum plane at the moment, but they're obviously putting it in for Solar Orcs in this, which is quite cool. You can have 4 Avengers in one squadron for 305 points, which is a bargain. To be honest. Absolute bargain. And on that note, I'm going to turn my microphone and my video off for a second and leave you in the more than capable hands of Chris Mills Esquire.
There was a game I used to play on a similar scale, Drop Zone Commander, and the way they had planes work was fairly interesting. They basically assumed that planes were too fast to stay on the battlefield for any for any sustained period. So what it used to be was you used to have to draw a line across the the table, and you said, right, my plane is coming on this line. You could stop it at any one point so that it could shoot something on the ground, and then it would zoom off. There were ways of intercepting it, but it was just a fairly interesting mechanic, so you didn't have to worry about them.
Cool.
But that's a tangent.
Chris.
It does look cool. The planes are interesting. Right, finally they gave us a fluff breakdown. Oh god, I was choked and died. On the Solar Rocks, in case you weren't aware of their
kind of background and shit.
The kind of background and stuff. Yeah, super cool. Nice. It's all also in other books that are available for Heresy.
Excellent. Okay.
All right, so that is the State of the Union. So,
including our new epic section.
Yeah, and I'm going to go do the Heresy highlights, or whatever name we're giving this section, and we'll be back in a minute to discuss Aunt Sally's. Is it next, or is it?
Yeah, we've got a couple of interesting scarecrow manipulation stories.
And now it's time for the Heresy highlights, that little bit of the show where we are trying to basically take in all the random stuff that sometimes would be tangential but might be interesting to Heresy people. Calling it Heresy highlights for now, we'll think of something better. Anyway, so Games Workshop tried to be down with the kids and introduced Instagram filters. Why? We don't know, but Instagram filters are like trying to put lipstick on a pixelated pig. It's still just a hog with makeup. No amount of putting Graham in a Cadian shock troop uniform can hide those technological warts. Not happy with teeny tiny Marines in Legion Imperialis? How about big Marines from Joy Toy? And no, that's not a manufacturer of tickle trinkets for grown-ups, but rather action figures that you aren't supposed to take out of the box. Gamescom came and went. Segment dedicated to Warhammer, no Heresy. Again, is Siege of Caphodia ever going to come? Not Siege of Caphodia. What was that one? Betrayal at Calf. That was the one, wasn't it? Yeah. Is that ever going to come out? That VR game. I've got a copy of it somewhere. Zero Heresy to be seen unless you consider the annoying baddies in Darktide, who you'll soon be able to slaughter on Xbox this autumn. And there was a nice 9-minute look at Space Marine 2 gameplay, and you can also register for the beta with Focus Entertainment. In Warhammer Plus news, it enters its third year with a choice of minis, a vampire, and nothing you doubt I can squeeze that into militia list, or a Kafrikin Sergeant based on the old Karl Kopinski artwork from the days of my youth. No £10 gift voucher this year, but you will get 2 20% Warhammer merchandise codes, and given how expensive that are, brings it down to normal Games Workshop prices. Mats. We love Mats and Deep Cut. Studios have given us a new Desert City mat designed with Shatterpoint in mind. Got to play Shatterpoint. It's actually really cool. And the mat looks good. Excellent on a Heresy table. Gale Force 9. They've released a new set of hobby tools. Looks to be pretty comprehensive. No word on UK release yet. Can't imagine it'd be far behind. Looks to be one of the wider ranges of tools from a single manufacturer we've seen in some time with sculpting tools, nippers, flexi sanders, microknives, flails, etc. And Warhammer Day is happening again this year, and if you're so inclined, the female squat for your militia army coming. And for our fans in the education sector, Warhammer Alliance are once again looking to support school clubs with a new support package and a new season of Battle Honours. So if you're a teacher, reach out to Games Workshop to get yourself sorted, because this is the pipeline by which we create new Heresy nuts. Cheers.
All right, guys, it's time for that bit of the month where we sort of discuss the so-called Aunt Sally's happy endings. And if you want to know where that name came from, look
for the smiling scarecrow. Mark Howlett, I think.
Mark Howlett, yeah, was
it was the one that coined the phrase.
Yeah, it's an interesting one. Anyway, so first one, this is one I saw. Did you see it, Graham, in the groups?
I didn't.
That was going around at the time. Basically, someone pointed out, hang on a minute, the melter bomb has a weapon profile as a melee weapon. So that means technically, if you give someone a melter bomb, it's a second close combat weapon.
You know what? I was thinking this is nonsense.
So,
then I started to look into it, and it's like, actually,
does it count as a second close combat weapon to give you an extra attack? And it was like, my first reaction was like hell.
But it's not a
and
grenade.
Then when you look at it and you're like, oh, right, maybe rules as written, it actually does.
It totally does, right? It totally does, because it's a melee weapon. It's got a profile in the melee weapons area, whereas grenades have got a specific thing under grenades in the...
It's not a grenade, it's a bomb.
Exactly right. And it's got a melee profile. Detonation, unwieldy. So unless detonation means it doesn't count, or it basically means you get one attack with it, which it might do. We might have to look in the detonation rule.
Give me 2 seconds.
Yes, you get one attack with it, a single attack, but it's not one use only. So the point is, if you're attacking with, say, you're pistol whipping the guy using a chainsword or something.
Yeah, but you can only use it against vehicles and dreadnoughts.
Yeah, but it's still a close combat weapon.
Yeah, but it's not, is it? Because you can only use it against vehicles and dreadnoughts.
But it's got the profile, so this is what I'm saying. It's like it rules as written.
The third time,
it
you can
looks
only use it. The only time it would become a close combat weapon would be against a vehicle or a dreadnought. And if you use it, so let's say you had a power fist and a melter bomb, right?
Mm-hmm.
That would be the example. And rather than use the melter bomb, you use
power fist is a specialist weapon, isn't it? So
that's not going to work.
It's like a paragon based specialist weapon.
Okay,
just a power sword, a nice old power sword.
Rending 6+ against a dreadnought, right? So does that mean if you're going up against a dreadnought, you've got a power sword, and you're only strength 4, but you can still wound it on 6s? Do you get the extra attack because you've got a melter bomb? I'd probably say yes, because it doesn't say you don't.
Yep.
Where's the detonation? Is that in the Space Marine Special?
I do.
It will be. It's not in the main rule book. So
I do think it should be a no. I think the rules as intended is no. But if someone was to question it and go, well, I think I do, I can't find an argument as to why they don't, other than, well, it doesn't, so nah.
A weapon with this special will only be used as attack models of the vehicle, dreadnought, or automata unit types. So any model of the move characteristic of 0, model that chose to attack with a weapon with this special rule during the assault phase may only make a single attack in the fight subphase, regardless of its attack characteristic and any bonus
but it's
attacks
with that weapon, not with any other weapon. So
that's a very
weapon
good
with this
question.
special rule.
Very good question.
Yeah, I do think it is rules as written. Yes, you will get another attack, but
only against those 3 things that you could get the extra attack with. I don't even think that it doesn't say, because I don't know. It does say because
weapon with this special rule may only be used.
But if using another weapon,
attack. Yeah. So
if
you go back to the power sword, if you were doing that against infantry, you wouldn't get the extra attack. Right?
I think you would. I think you would because it's written.
Because that other weapon cannot be used against infantry.
I don't think you should, but I think you would.
Let's see what people think. My rule, the way I take this is, you can't use it against infantry, therefore it can't be an extra close combat attack. But you can use it. But you can use it against vehicles, automata, and dreadnoughts. Therefore, if you had a power sword, for example, you would get an extra attack with that because of the melter bomb, I think.
But it's way you come to one of our events and you try to use that to say I'll get another attack because there's another close combat weapon. I'm going to tell you to get fucked. Sorry.
Oh, steady. Ooh. Customer service.
I do feel kind of strongly on that one.
Where did you go for the customer service course? Not the same one as
same place that I went.
Really? Well, in fact, it was run by you, wasn't it, Rob?
The only place I had ever had customer service. The only place I ever had customer service training was when I worked at Barclays. So,
did you ever see that?
Mr. B, you and I'll sit down and I'll give you a full run through of how to
Okay, I'm just
talk to the customer.
I'll be figuring out how to figure. I'll know how to figure out if it's a blood diamond by the end of the day.
I genuinely feel
everyone's obsessed with blood diamonds.
I know it's
so minimally exists.
Not gonna. Not going to let it go.
Such a minimal thing these days.
I know. To be honest, it's more blood cobalt these days, isn't it?
Where are we?
Not
trying to think.
Norway announced they found a massive chunk of it.
Oh,
Where
yeah.
are we?
Right, explode.
Number of attacks. 2 weapons. A model engaged with 2 single-handed weapons. Mr. B.
But is the melter bomb two-handed?
With single-handed weapons, often a melee weapon and/or pistol in each hand, get +1 attacks. So there could be an argument there, because the melter bomb is 1 attack and you need 2 hands to put it on.
Does it say it's two-handed? Yeah, that's the point. It doesn't say it. So you're using rules rules as intended.
Yeah, I know.
I honestly think rules as intended. I agree with you on this one. I think the intent is that it doesn't, but I think that as written, it might. I think it just depends on.
I think you're probably right, and somebody could rules lawyer that into existence if they wanted to.
Yeah,
it would be nonsense and needs to be clarified.
This is the kind
so many things.
You know, this is. Do you know when we see the FAQ come out, we say, "What on earth have they FAQ'd that for? What lunatic has been asking that question?"
But I think actually, interestingly enough, you wouldn't get any extra bonuses for charging though, because it specifically says you don't get any extra charge. But that's not using that weapon.
But that's
it's an FAQ. Weapon. It's an FAQ, right? For sure. There are so many of these that are like this.
I think this is one that does need an FAQ. I think the intent is clear, and I think it'll be one of those things. If they ever do FAQ it, and it's because people like us have been asking this question, people will say, "Who on earth thought that was even a thing? Why would they be asking that? The idiots."
Well, I think this is if somebody was trying to pull this off, this would basically be they'd also be trying to pull off Wurzel. So I think this is definitely in that sort of definitely a smiling Wurzel gummage at the end of this one.
Anyway,
okay, next
out
of the bag. I asked this question actually because it's never.
Yes, you did. I saw it and then couldn't find it again.
Okay, well, my question was: when you have a wrecked vehicle, does it block line of sight? Now, normally I play that and all it says is it's treated as a piece of terrain. So normally I just play it as well. It's just like a ruin that you could probably see through because there's going to be bits of it missing because it's kind of blown up, but it's not. However, as much as it pains me, and trust me when I say this, it pains me greatly. Greg Dan did point out that it is true line of sight when it comes to terrain.
Mm.
And as it's a terrain piece, it's true line of sight. So basically that model is true line of sight, therefore it's blocking. Even though shooting through your own infantry is perfectly allowed, shooting through dreadnoughts is perfectly allowed, when it comes to terrain, it's true line of sight. So I think Greg is actually right on this.
I think I agree with you. I think he's right on this one, but my personal interpretation
it annoys the living Jesus that he's right.
My personal interpretation of this throughout the years has always been if it's a wreck, it's full of holes, it's messed up, it's on fire, it's not. I think in the old edition it was you had different types of cover save you could give, didn't you?
To be fair,
I'm going back to ancient law there.
I did then Google wrecked tanks to see just how much line of sight blocking that they would actually give you.
Doesn't take
it's quite a lot actually. Tank. Yeah, there's quite a lot of cover.
So I personally give it a cover save, but
I think it's a block line of sight.
Yeah, if it blocks line of sight, yeah. So all I'm hoping for now when my get down there is that they don't get blown up because I'll have cover.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's perfect. And I think people would abuse that and just drive a load of rhinos in front of las cannon squads and say, ha, you got to move now.
I know this is a tangent, but I built my first Daimios pattern vehicle yesterday in plastic, and they're really nice.
Very nice. Anyway, augury scanners and transports. This came up. This isn't really manipulation of a scarecrow. This is actually a reasonable question.
Didn't we ask this in the last episode?
No, I'm pretty sure we didn't. We might have done. But anyway.
Yeah, because we talked about Decurions.
No.
We just talked about that.
But the Decurion
has an augury scanner.
Conversation.
One of them has an augury scanner.
Yeah, but the argument, I suppose, is if you're inside a transport, like inside a Spartan, for example, can you use an augury scanner?
I'm pretty sure the rules specifically say no.
They don't. They do say for Nuncio Vox, but they don't say it for augury scanner.
Oh, right, okay. Oh, so, Nuncio Vox, yes, that's right.
So yeah, there's a whole raft of
ooh.
Yeah. So I think basically you could use it for stopping infiltrators, I think. but you couldn't use it for the free interceptor because you'd have to be shooting through the hull of your tank to do that.
My personal view on it would be, and this is how I would play it, but whether this is
throw a dice and decide, maybe.
No, I would. Is there a firing hole? Is there a firing point?
There aren't access points in the vehicles.
Access points. Yeah,
there aren't fire points in vehicles anymore. Sorry.
The thing would be, so you can't benefit from a model that isn't on the board.
Yeah.
Because in theory, you could then augury scanner stuff if you're in reserve.
Let's have a look. Well, the modern vault is basically still on the battlefield. Any distance measured or taken. Yeah, so there is a bit of discussion about this.
Yeah, no.
So if the player needs to measure a range involving the embedded embarked unit, except for shooting, the range is measured from the hull. So there is clearly in the rules there is a thing that points this out. So yeah,
okay.
I think it's. I would say yes, but obviously you can't use the interceptor because you can't shoot through the hull.
That's true. But it's not like
there's a lot of people arguing that otherwise. It's a dubious one, right?
And to be fair, it's not like you're going to be embarked in many vehicles that are going to be capable of taking down a flyer, for example.
Yeah. The argument, I think, is that the transport doesn't gain the model, that doesn't gain the war gear of the squad inside it. So, again, you can't measure. So it's a 50 again FAQ. I think. I don't think it's deliberate gamesmanship. That one. I think it's a reasonable question. This one is definite gamesmanship and probably set somewhat tongue-in-cheekly to highlight once again that there's a problem with the rules. But can Alpha Legion give infiltrate to a fortification? And the argument is, well, I can't see this. You can't.
I have seen this asked a few times, and the answer has always been yes, but no.
Yeah, this is.
So the link doesn't open for me. So talk me through this one.
So basically, Alpha Legion. So if you have Alferus, for example, he can give infiltrate to 3 units. Can you give it to a fortification within the?
Does he give it to units, or does he give it to units with the Alpha Legion special rule?
That is a great question. I think it is probably Alpha Legion special rule, to be honest with you. But let's have a look. I think also.
I don't think you can get any fortifications with the Legionis Astartes rules, can you?
No,
that's what I mean. So
that's what you're saying. So let's have a quick gander of Alferis.
Rules. Maybe the Hammerfall bunker. Maybe the Hammerfall bunker.
I don't think so. I think fortifications don't have that. But let's have a quick look and see what Alferis has got to say for himself.
Select up to 3 friendly units composed entirely of models with the Legio Astartes Alpha Legion special rule.
I'm going to look that up.
Selected units may be redeployed to any position to controlling players' deployment zone or placed in reserves. Yeah. Unless fortifications suddenly have developed Alpha Legion special rule, ain't gonna happen.
That would make sense, but let's make sure.
I'm going to look up the legends.
Why?
Because that's the only one I can think of that might be one like that, right?
I see.
Legends of the these are exemplary battles. Siege of for God's sakes. Legacies of the Dark Age, Mechanicum Legionis to start. This is the only one I can think of that might be like that. It's the Hammerfall bunker, because it's like it's a very Space Marine specific one. Oh, come on, load up.
Page 102. Here you go. Hammerfall bunker. Fortification in place.
Does not. Yeah, doesn't have the rule. Okay, that was the only one I was thinking. Oh, maybe because that can be deployed. Like, yeah, that gets deployed.
Yeah, no. In the bin.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I think that's right. Unless the fortification somehow, the Primus Redoubt doesn't have it. The Achilles Strongpoint doesn't have it. Fortress Redemption doesn't have it. Sky Shield doesn't have it. Void Shield Generator doesn't have it. Vengeance Weapon Battery. Firestorm Redoubt.
Yeah, Mr. B. I think you'll notice that all of the fortifications aren't Legio Astartes because they're Legio Astartes.
Because also the other thing about fortifications is you can take them over from your opponent, so they wouldn't have the
even if you buy them as part of the army. It's I think people are confusing the two things.
Yeah.
Also, I think they're in a separate attachment as well, aren't they? But I could be wrong on that one.
Yes, I think they probably are, but
Yeah. Anyway, yeah, nonsense. That definitely comes under a happy Wurzel.
Oh, this one looks interesting. Advanced reaction, bitter fury. Oh.
Yeah, this is people trying to shoehorn the advanced reaction for the Iron Warriors into the same reaction that the Ultramarines have. And again, it comes down to the kind of wording and the language. But ultimately, the long and short of it is, I've put the actual advanced reaction in the notes, is that because it doesn't specifically say something, therefore it must mean it. And yeah, it seems somewhat nonsensical to me as an Iron Warrior. So once per battle, during opponent's pleasure shooting phase, when an enemy unit declares a shooting attack targeting a friendly unit under the reactive player's control, composed entirely of models with... I don't know why they didn't just put that as a general rule for all advanced reactions. Once the active player has resolved all to hit and to wound rolls and armor saves are made, before damage mitigation rolls are made or casualties removed, the reactive player may make a shooting attack targeting the unit that triggered this reaction, with all weapons making twice their normal number of attacks, but gaining its hot special rule. Where are we? To hit for rolls, this weapon already processed gets hot special rule on a 1 or a 1 or a 2. Okay, so only 1. The unit that makes a shooting attack as part of the bitter fury reaction may not make any attacks indirectly. So the argument, I think, is that it can be more than one unit making that attack, or a different unit that's making it.
Okay. Hang on. So
any Iron Warrior can make the reaction, and not the one that got shot at.
The reactive player may make a shooting attack targeting the unit that triggered this reaction.
Yeah.
With all the weapons making twice the normal number of attacks, but getting to get some special rules during the shooting attack.
It doesn't specifically say.
A unit that makes...
Yeah, it just gives you some rules, but it doesn't say it's got to be the unit that was actually shot that makes the return fire. Again,
No,
I just...
It doesn't.
It seems somewhat odd.
No, because you've got like that...
the Ultramarines have got a specific rule for it.
The Sons of Horus is one's like that as well, isn't it? Where it doesn't affect the units that it affects.
It does affect it's just the one
another unit.
I'm thinking Tau here in 40k. They in the last edition they had a thing where they could Overwatch in support of another unit.
I mean, but so have the Soul Auxiliary, haven't they? Because they can Overwatch for the Terracos. But yeah, what it isn't specifically saying is that unit, the one that gets shot, is the one that has to react. So let's say you shoot a tactical squad, and then I then shoot you with my las cannon squad, which is miles away. Even though they weren't shot initially, but I'm reacting to you shooting my squad regardless.
Yeah.
Or it could be, whatever.
Yeah, I say that's perfectly legit.
Yeah,
it is
sounds
once
legit.
per game, for sure. I don't think that was the intent.
it's once per game. It definitely makes it feel more like.
I mean, let's have a quick look at the Ultramarines one.
It's like a support fire thing.
That more than one unit can do this.
I think the crack is if they haven't specifically said it can't.
Yeah, but that's a slippery
When
slope.
any enemy model declares a shooting attack targeting a friendly unit under the reactive player's control, composed entirely of Legion Astartes Iron Warrior special rule. Once the active player has resolved all their hits, the reactive player may make a shooting attack targeting the unit that triggered this reaction.
The thing is,
I don't.
Yeah, the
wording is kind of weird, because if you look at the Ultramarines advanced reaction is much more specific for this particular thing. So if I read that out,
I think here's the thing, Graham. It doesn't say the wordings of the reactions are generally speaking usually pretty specific. If it hasn't said it must be with the attacking unit, I would interpret that as the unit that's been attacked. True, but
I mean, if you look at the Ultramarines one, for example, the Ultramarines one says, armor saves are made, but before damage mitigation rolls are made, the reactive player may choose to expend one of the reactions for that phase to have both the unit targeted by the shooting attack and one other unit.
That's different.
But it's a different reaction,
because that's two units. That's allowing 2 units to do it.
This is
This allows-
sorry. Is this allowing two?
You have one unit that can do
No,
it,
this allows one
but it doesn't
unit.
have to be the same unit that gets triggered.
If it was allowing multiple units, it would say multiple
Yeah.
units. It's not. It's not saying that has to be the unit that was shot at, so it's a unit.
85 comments on that, by the way. So I just want to point that out. So
I don't.
clearly it's not
Yes.
quite as straightforward as you guys are making, but
I don't know.
I honestly think that in
What do you think is ambiguous?
I
about it?
don't. I think it would be more specific than that. But you're right. If it doesn't say it, I'm not going to argue about it. It seems perfectly reasonable once per game that you can shoot them with another unit. It's just a bit odd that the Ultramarines one is very specific, and this is very.
But the Ultramarines one activates
It's a different
different
thing.
units.
Yeah.
It's not you activate Unit A and Unit B, so it has to be specific about what units can do it. Whereas this is Jeff gets attacked, and Steve and his mates, who
Well,
might
it's not
be
even
better
that. It's
positioned,
someone can attack back.
react in return.
You know, it's basically saying someone can attack back, so it can be any unit really. But you know,
Yeah.
I agree. It definitely probably wants FAQing because if it's generating 85 comments about it, but I think it is. I don't like being gamey, but I think it does. I think it is quite. I think it clearly does say. Sorry, because it doesn't say you have to use a certain unit. It means it's open to any unit.
I think I would be very surprised if this stands up after FAQ, but as it stands, fair enough. I mean,
I actually agree with you on that one, but I think for now,
you're right. You can interpret that in a way that would
Definitely.
kind of be something. Okay, cool. What's next? So ultimately, I think it's pretty gamey, but I think, like you say, it's a rule that it's not
I don't
unreasonable
know.
for the Iron Warriors.
Once per game
So-
doesn't feel. I don't know.
I get it. I'm moving on.
I'm just trying to think here. I mean, I don't even. There's no real fluff to explain the thing. So bitter duty. Does that mean they're bitter because they're firing at their own people?
No, they're not firing their own people. I think it's just one of those things. Bear in mind they fired twice, so you would get
So
20
here's
las
the
cannons,
thing.
not 10 las cannons if it was a las cannon squad, but you deliberately wouldn't shoot for that very reason.
Mm.
But
So
I think you'd have to
here's
be very clear when you talked through with your army that you were going to play it that way.
See,
That
this
makes
should be
any
the
sense.
this
Because
should
you
be
don't
the
want to
type-
spring this on somebody halfway through a game. You want to say, so this is my advanced reaction, because I don't know about you because I'm the only one who's actually playing most of the time. I say to people, this is my advanced reaction. I'll talk you through my advanced reaction. Or this is my Sons of Horus advanced reaction. It's shit. So I'm never going to talk. There's no point talking through it because I'm never going to use it, right? But the Ultramarines one, I do talk through so that people understand it. And I try to understand theirs. So I would have to talk them through this and say, okay, I'm Iron Warriors. If you shoot that squad, this other squad will come and knack you. Just giving you a warning now. And then I think it's all cool. But I think when people spring it on folks and then go, my advanced reaction does this, and you're like, really? Then it becomes a problem. Anyway, next out the bag. Units that are held in reserve have the outflank ability enter the battlefield as can units that have the outflank that have basically been put into outflank. What's the word? Outflank assault, or whatever it's called.
Mhm.
Can they come onto the battlefield as normal reserves would? So the argument is when you do an outflank assault, you put a little marker where you're going to come in, and I think you can reposition it 6. But another sensible person could kind of block off that and prevent you from getting on by just lining up troops, and therefore prevent you from coming onto the board. And because you said you're going an outflank, does that mean you can then come on in normal reserve? The long and the short of the conversation on this one is that no, you can't. If you're an outflank, you've got to come on as outflank.
I would agree with that, but yeah, no, I can see why, because outflank seen as an advantage and coming on normally would be a disadvantage. But at the same time, you're looking at the. I used this photo on our Dark Angels article that we put up last week. The guy from tournament with the recruit who created a line so the White Scars couldn't enter the table.
Basically, that's exactly what's in this thing that somebody's put that exact same picture on, because it's effectively that. You can line.
No,
but I mean, you just need to be a bit more. If you're putting your marker right next to the deployment zone of the other person, then it would be a logical thing for them to try and block it off.
Right, I have to. Right, I haven't used outflank yet, so you might have to correct me here. But does the outflank? Yeah, the outflanking, is that just the marker? Does that just indicate the table side you're coming on?
No, you've got to come near the marker.
How
deployed near the marker? Let me just find
how many inches? Yeah, because
full rules for that.
Because I think then it's. I think then if he's coming on within the marker, I think what you're looking at is a risk reward. If you put it on someone's deployment zone, you are hoping that you can get it on without them coming in.
Right. Okay. I'll read the flanking assault rules.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think
before the start of game turn 1, when placing units into reserve, a player must choose to assign one or more of their units in reserve to perform a flanking assault. All models in the unit applying to a flanking assault must have the outflank special rule.
Yep.
Unless they're embarked on a transport vehicle that has the outflank special rule. Once all the units have been assigned, and both armies have been deployed, but before infiltrators, bear in mind, deploy scout moves are made, place a flanking marker at any point along the edge of the battlefield, including within the enemy player's deployment zone. This marker represents the intended arrival point of the flanking assault. When rolling for reserve, roll a single dice for all of the assigned units. If the roll is successful and the controlling player chooses to bring them into play, then all the flanking assault units must enter play in that turn and follow the flanking assault procedure below. Okay, a bit of a read here.
Does it say how far they can be? That's all, really, I guess.
Disorganized. So if you screw it up, they can move it 24 inches up and down that line. For roll 2 or higher, then the player making the flanking assault may move the flanking marker up to 6 inches in either direction. Once the flanking marker's final position has been determined, the flanking assault unit may move the flanking assault units onto the battlefield, measuring from the point marked by the flanking marker.
Is it their normal move distance?
Yeah, it's a normal move from that point.
Okay. Yeah. So no, I think from what you've just read there, my interpretation of that would be no. You have to outflank.
You have to outflank, and you could basically then use infiltrators and scout to basically block them coming on. As long as you can do it within 12 inches. And then people say, well, you could just ram them with a vehicle, but actually you can't because it doesn't move the units out of the way anymore. A ram. So, yeah, you could basically screw somebody over by preventing them from coming onto the board with the classic.
My way of looking at it is in many Warhammer games, there is a risk-reward mechanic to a lot of the things that give you a great reward. There's also a great risk. Deep striking, for example, has always been a thing that is risky. It's supposed to be risky, but if you pull it off, it's a great reward. So I think this is just another example of if you pull this off, fantastic. You've just gotten a great reward. You've got a unit on the battlefield in a position. You've outflanked.
It would be pretty. It wouldn't necessarily be easy to pull off, but you could potentially block somebody coming on. Anyway, that's it for the rules.
So we did strike. Yeah. Anyway, we got some letters from the audience. So shall we go and talk about these?
What, the live studio audience? Is that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, surprise! Surprise! Michael's been saving some interesting emails up. From
this is Michael's definition of interesting, by the way, and does not in any way reflect our collective definition of interesting.
Other than me and Mr. B, the other two guys who don't have any sense of fun or wonder. We just want to talk about boring things all the time. So that's right.
Some of these, sometimes we just get okay. All right, so we'll start with the first one, which has been deeply wanted by people who've been demanding this ever since Chris teased it in the last episode. But, dear Michael and the Talent, This is the second time that someone has said that exact phrase,
Seems
Michael
perfectly-
and the talent.
He's perfectly reasonable to me.
Yeah, I'm not getting any kind of complaint about it.
You called us the
Michael
guests earlier,
the
so it's
talent.
only
Yes,
right.
So
Right.
screw you,
Okay.
Fritz.
Here we go. The subject line was dinosaurs attack. Do you band together and survive, or does someone crack and attempt to sacrifice the others in order to live? My theory, Graham is the first to crack, but Rob turns it around and feeds him to the dinosaurs. In all scenarios, however, Michael is eaten in seconds after attempting to pet a velociraptor.
No doubt at all.
doubt.
That's exactly what would happen. You'd say, can't we just be mates? And I'm looking on the bright side of that velociraptor right up until the point that it tears your face off.
Yeah.
Bear
He's
in mind they're
literally
not as
like
big
the
as
guy
they
in
were
Jurassic
in-
World who tries to shake hands with one and go, "We're on the same
Yeah.
side," and then it kills him.
Yeah, I think that's. I mean, if we say the fictitious version of Velociraptor in the Jurassic Park sense, Mr. B will still try and
the turkeys, aren't
yeah, Mr. B will still try and pat it and say, "Oh, isn't he cute? I'll just take him back home for the rabbits or something."
In
So that's true. I'm not quite sure.
I
that is
swear,
the first
Rob
crack.
would kill that fucker.
That kind of worries me somewhat, that people think that I would be literally the in the film Alien, I would be.
Are you the?
I'd be
are you
the
Hicks
corporation
Wells?
guy. No, I'd be the one who tries to basically smuggle a alien back through quarantine and make loads of money from the bioweapons division. I'm rather worried that is what people think of me, but it's probably true in this instance. Yeah, I
Well,
think
it's not like you're trying to sneak dinosaurs back to make a profit off them. You're just the first to try and sacrifice the others to survive.
No, to be honest with you, I think I would probably say that I would be a Jacobean banquet for a prospective
A lot of Jacobean references recently, and
for a prospective dinosaur. So I think that being as I'm not quite as mobile as I used to be, and I'd have to try and think my way out of it. The only possible option would be that you would run off, and because Mr. B had already sacrificed himself in a brave and futile effort to reach an understanding with the bright side of Velociraptor, I would be the next to go, simply because I would be too tasty a morsel to be given up. Whereas I think Chris would probably be next, and I think Rob is the fittest, so he's going to be the one that
ultimately. 3 of us require medication to tick over. And so if we're going in a back in time scenario, basically we're just going to keep Rob alive as long as possible. And slowly fall
Rob's
by
going
the
to have to
wayside.
somehow work out how he can distill insulin from, ferns.
Because otherwise, within a week I'll be functionally useless.
Dead.
And I'll be in a coma or inside a dinosaur.
Yeah.
So
I think I'd probably chuck myself in a dinosaur to give Rob the chance of survival, and he could then sing our praises in a saga or something.
Yeah, I mean,
Rob surviving is the whole objective.
I've said I would do my best to keep everyone going. Obviously, this is based on the assumption Michael is already dead.
Yep.
I'd let Chris have his wish. Once he started to go south, I'd make sure his passing was quick. Can't promise it'd be Titanic exploration quick, but I'd do my best.
Yeah.
On that one, Graham, same thing. I'd probably build a treehouse shelter.
Oh, that's nice.
I've got the advantage. I have seen all 5 seasons of Camp Cretaceous as well, so I'm quite well prepared.
Well, Chris has played a game with dinosaurs that attack.
I've played a couple of dinosaur survival games.
Yeah.
Well, I played Turok at least once.
Once your batteries start to go, Graham, I'd make sure yours was quick and as painless as possible as well. And then what I'd do is I'd keep all of your boiled and skull bleached skulls.
No. What you need to do, Rob, basically, is he has a very long-lasting power source inside of him.
I'm trying to turn him into a torch.
That's what I'm saying. So, once his medication runs out, he's in the same boat as me. We're both fucked.
That's true.
So,
don't feed me to the dinosaur. There's a very powerful defibrillator which sets an electric charge off, so you can kind of use that as an emergency weapon.
That's true.
Yeah.
I'd probably eat the pair of you because it's just
That's what we're finding out here.
Well, let's be fair. If you're going to go to beaten by a T-Rex or something, pretty awesome.
Not really. I think it's not going to be quick, is it?
I'd have your skulls on a shelf, and I'd be like a goth version of Wilson.
That would be pretty cool. I'd be all right with that. I think I'd feel
I'd probably still try and
keeping your
record the
sanity.
show, like sat in a tree talking to the three of you, going, "So what have you done recently?" As I went more and more strange, living in my dreams.
You'll do it with the all up power fist voices.
That's true. You'd be recording the Christmas special on your own in your tree.
Yeah, totally. I totally would.
I got eaten by a dinosaur. That's what happened.
Yeah, basically, that's what it. I think there's a precursor to a rhododendron here that I've just spotted.
Of course.
I'm going to use Graham's battery to see if I can get a spark and light it and see what it's like.
There you go. I could probably start a fire with my internals. Anyway, that is actually a somewhat disturbing but relatively interesting question. Thanks for that. Okay, what's the next one? Come on.
Next one, what have we got here? Hey guys,
I'm going to word this one, Michael, just before you do.
I'm just going to try it. I'm going to hopefully running a small local event where I live in Calamaria early next. I have no idea.
Is that where the squid comes from?
Perhaps.
Calamaria.
Next year, but a lot of the local player base are not normal. A lot have autism. Well, I mean, that's one way of wording it. What are the ways that have made you help that? What are the ways that you made to help the weirdos? Sorry for the bad English, Alex T.
It's actually it's in Greece or possibly Macedonia.
Yeah.
It looks fantastic. Wow. How nice. It's right on the med. My God.
Are we going, like?
We should
so what we're saying is we're going to this tournament.
Sign us up.
I've got a colleague at work who's from Greece. I'll ask him what it's like.
It looks really nice from Google Map.
Knowing our luck, it's going to be Doing our luck, it's going to be do you know Leeds? It's a bit like that, except more stabby.
No, it looks. I can't imagine.
It looks
really nice.
We're not.
Hang on. Area of Thessalonia.
Yeah.
Okay.
Sorry,
we've gone slightly off topic and onto planning our holidays.
Okay. Just to give you a heads up, though, it was 29 degrees there yesterday, so
no loud.
No.
32 tomorrow.
No loud noises.
For us.
No surprises.
Anyway, what was the question?
Give everyone enough time.
A lot of the local player base are not normal. A lot have autism, etc. What are the ways you've made to help the weirdos?
Did they say?
Yes,
weirdos?
this is copied.
Okay, cool.
But it does say sorry for the bad English, so maybe it's a make
sure everyone's got time, because that's going to be an important thing. I should
always be prepared.
Yeah.
Come prepared.
Clear,
with stuff.
unambiguous objectives and mission parameters.
Yeah, definitely.
And scoring.
For autism
I would say if you do have people with autism, etc., maybe have a lower points, or instead of trying to squeeze 3 games in a day, only do 2.
So I think the things that we've learned over the years, I guess, are don't be too ambitious, because actually the things that you do that you think are really important very rarely actually are important to people.
Keep it simple.
Don't be crazy ambitious. I mean, we are still ambitious and we still push the envelope, but we've simplified our things a lot, haven't we? We've made the systems work for us rather than having very complicated systems. They now do the same thing but in a simpler way. So don't overcomplicate it. Don't create like a massively complex campaign until you're confident you can run an event. So my advice would probably be keep it simple. Like you say, if you're going to do your own custom missions, which I probably wouldn't advise to start with,
use the Cathonia missions because they're really easy.
Yeah, make sure they're super clear. The instructions are super clear and play test them. But if you are going to use, like say Michael says there, if you are going to use off-the-shelf ones, the Cathonia ones are pretty good. Keep it to 4 turns so it's not too long, particularly in this edition. But start small. Think about what you enjoy about going to an event, if you've been to one, and what you'd like to see in an event, because that's how we kind of gauge it. We write events that we would like to. We write events that we'd like to play.
People with specifically like autism and stuff, as Rob said, keep your language, no ambivalency, and
no room for interpretation.
It's got to be
And like I said,
on the
come prepared. I think is the key thing.
clear-
Don't just try
clean and
bring it
clear.
on the day. So if you've
And
got a
remember,
story you want to tell, for example,
just give people time as well. Just give
Write
people
the story
time to take it all in, and don't rush anybody.
And remember, it's supposed to
you're
be
stressed them
fun.
out.
it is supposed to be fun, but
It's supposed to be fun, so
Yes.
keep that emphasis on the fundamentals.
Yeah, don't let them
with
know
an
that
emphasis.
you called them weirdos, just in case they're snobby weirdos.
They might not necessarily appreciate that.
yeah. But I think
Maybe it is the Greek to English translation.
I think, like I said, I think if you are going to have a story, have a narrative, don't make it a tournament. So make it a team, like traitors v loyalists. Because I think if you play a tournament, then people will play it like a tournament. I.e., they will inevitably try and destroy everybody else with a maximum
Screw each
victory
other up.
points. So if you play it as a team, then it doesn't encourage that kind of play. It's like more of a team game, and then it's your team may lose one game. It doesn't matter. The team may have won. So team game, if you've got a story, write the story in advance. Don't just try and wing it on the day, and come prepared with a short paragraph between each round to explain where your story's going.
Yeah.
And then let's say keep it simple. That's basically what I would do.
Remember the fundamentals with a focus on fun and a secondary focus on mental.
Yeah, there is that, of course. Anyway, that's a good question. That is actually a good
Okay.
question.
Question
The next
3.
one, I've got no idea about
hell
this
is
one,
this?
but I'm going to take it. It just came in. Coffee, tea, or me, Oksana from the front lines in Donetsk.
I don't believe that's real. That's a spam.
From Donetsk, if I know. Donetsk, not
like it's not
Donetsk.
been on the
Donetsk.
Okay, I've got no idea how to pronounce the words.
That's just somebody trying to sell you
So
some
you
sort
added
of
an extra
tablet, isn't it?
5
Shame.
letters in it for a start. So
That is just a spam email, Mr. B. We do get them, I'm assuming.
Yeah, I guess maybe. I don't know. We got.
I want to see the email.
I'm flipping.
Okay,
Yeah, so do I.
I'll forward it to you. I will forward it to you. But it was. I don't know. We've got. It's weird. I still need to send you them. I've got them on my desktop. I will send them to you later. But our listener figures, Ukraine is still very high up there. It's higher since the war started. So I don't know.
Jeez, things must be bleak. Right.
We've been saying
in answer to that second question.
Rob's been sneaking messages in from MI6.
Clearly, that's his public school education. He got the
tea
tap.
on me.
It's-
A cup of
it's-
tea for me every day of the week.
Yeah, a tea for me. I have no idea who you are, so I'm just going to stick to the tea because
Yeah,
Depends
all the
where the
very
coffee's
best.
come from. Depends what coffee, what tea, but definitely not you. I've been around the red light district in Amsterdam.
They
and I know
could be
it's
a
full of
perfectly
forward-looking
reasonable
Eastern
person.
Europeans on Instagram.
Okay, yeah, fair enough. Coffee for me always.
okay. Maybe
This
okay.
time of night.
That is just spam. If that's just spam, if this isn't spam, I'll say thank you very much for your email.
Yeah, and
Email
somewhat
it. It would be
inappropriate.
nice to. It would be nice to hear.
But if you are on the front lines, we wish you all the very best. Anyway,
Yeah, get
Go on
yourself a
then.
tea. They can make them in the back of a Challenger 2. They've all got a tea making kit in the
they
back.
have.
They do, right? Okay, this is a good one. What do you guys think is the most useful hobby technique that you've personally learned over the years? I've arthritis and have found the most useful skill has been trying to figure out how to dry brush more subtly with alongside contrast keeps me painting at a tabletop standard. So,
Nice.
Mark W. So, yeah, that's the kind of question I really like.
Oil wash.
it's
It's probably been the thing
for
that
me-
I've found has been the most revolutionary for me.
Mhm.
For some reason, it just makes
I'm-
all my models look great. Particularly as I do, put them in the airing cupboard to dry. I don't know if it makes a difference, but it seems to. It's like opening a present every morning, right? Because you put it in there overnight, and then you're thinking, "Oh, I know this is going to turn out. I'm quite excited." And then in the morning, you come
Anybody
up,
who
it's-
works with Graham, this is why he smells vaguely of petrochemicals.
I do
when he
all the
comes into
time.
work.
Well, I work remotely, so there's
Yeah.
no danger. in
He's
that.
not a drunk. He just. he just
And I
smells.
do use
I used to
the
work.
Sans fumes one from Windsor and Newton. But
Fancy
anyway,
I used to work with a drunk whose way of not smelling of booze every morning was to drink a bottle of vanilla extract.
probably do it.
Yeah, I
So
know.
yeah,
I
oil
worked with a guy
washing
that
for
used to
me
chew
has
gum
been
like it was going out of fashion.
Used to what?
I used to work with a guy who had a drinking problem and used to chew gum like it was going out of fashion.
Yeah, that's
And you were like, "We know what's going on, man."
Okay.
You know.
Yeah,
Anyway.
my granddad was like that. He used to just eat spoonfuls of mustard powder.
Yeah.
Ouch.
Oof, Jesus.
Okay. Okay, so that's
Uh,
mine. What about yours? I expect Rob's probably got a lot more to say. on
Rob,
this
Rob
than
has
most of us.
pasted his answer here.
I typed mine up earlier.
Go on then.
Mine is the same as Rob's in theory.
As a fellow arthritic, although mine hasn't reached my hands yet, but it's got to be the airbrush, because once you get your control sorted, you can do 90% of stuff with barely any movement. Tiny imperceptible movements. If you've got your elbows braced, you're like that. It's slow, so you're not aggravating your joints with fast movements or anything like that. Once you get your accuracy sorted, especially if you have a brush like the Harden Steenbeck Infinity, where you can preset a spray size almost, so you just set it so you can't accidentally go and shoot a Land Raider sized chunk of paint at a marine's head. Once you get that dialed in, you can do massive amounts with that. Get it sorted out on a piece of cartridge paper first, lock it in place, and then just go right, marine after marine after marine, job done.
Do you know, that's literally exactly how I don't use my airbrush. I'm airbrushing like I'm painting the north stand of the of the Brighton Stadium, which is basically going like I'm doing a car or something.
Yeah, no.
None of that nonsense. Shh, get it on there.
No.
That'll do. So anyway, your delicate movements must be very good.
Mm-hmm.
See, I find this a tough one to answer because I don't tend to use a lot of cheaty techniques to counter my disabilities. I mean, you're supposed to speed read with rule books and stuff. That was something that helped a lot because I'm very dyslexic. But I try not to rely on too many techniques because someone on another podcast summed it up great. What if I find myself in a situation where I literally have to go back to a normal technique of doing something? And I can't rely on that. And it's probably completely ridiculous, but it's always in my mind. Maybe I shouldn't rely on these cheater techniques, and I should just stick with the normal stuff. But I'm probably being super ableist with myself there. But it's like I tried to teach myself Dvorak, which is a keyboard layout, and I was really good at it. But the moment I went back to a normal keyboard, which was so often, I just was a mess. So I don't know.
So what's that? So what about painting techniques then?
Yeah, this is the thing. It's like I try not to rely on too many cheaty things, but I suppose painting techniques.
Yeah, taking the
wet palette.
Yeah, I was going to say it.
Wet palette. It's perfect. I am
Still
terrible.
struggle with mine.
I really struggle to water down paints to the right consistency, and I found with a wet palette, it just changed it. And it sounds super cheeky, but the whole not super cheeky, but the whole piece of Chinese takeaway tub, a piece of tissue paper, and some greaseproof paper, and it's just as good as the red grass one that I've got. I've got the red grass one, and I'm like, why? The only difference really is that it's got a watertight lid, and I'm like, why did I spend all this money on that? The only difference is this.
I've not tried that other technique. But
no, literally, all my first wet palette was a Chinese takeaway tub. I put down a tissue paper that was just barely wet, and some greaseproof paper, and it was fantastic. It was great. But yeah, the red grass one does last absolutely ages, but it's not not much more advanced than the homemade one. But yeah, wet palette was definitely for me great because I can finally water stuff down the way it's supposed to be. Because I'm terrible. If I don't use it, I will literally take stuff straight from the pot, only water it down a little bit, and.
Okay. What about you, Chris?
Not necessarily a painting technique, but learning patience. That is the greatest hobby technique
Maybe that beats everybody.
Ever learned, because I can get frustrated very easily and very angry about things, like when I'm painting especially, and learning to not have that quite so much and being able to go, okay, it's taking me longer or it's not quite worked out, but I can do X, Y, and Z. that has made. I mean, I still hate painting. I would still buy pre-painted kits every day of the week if it was entirely possible for me. But the ability to sort of have patience with my painting is the best technique I've learned. I would say
that's a good one.
That's a really good answer.
As opposed to a physical application, like
yeah, that's a good. Cool.
I would also like to add in addition to Chris's answer there, because I think that's probably actually the best answer of the lot. Is I don't tend, if I go into an event, I try to only submit a list with stuff I already have. I don't want to be rushing a unit like I am right now in the last week and a bit, and I'm like, bloody hell, I don't have this last cannon unit and it's in my list and it's absolutely dependent on it. So yeah, I know.
Cool. Okay, let's move over then. Hello there, and welcome to a little bonus episode, if you like. Back in the garden, back in the shed. We're back in the paint shack. Hold on to your hats. Yeah. Hello, Robbing, and so I've had quite a delay between these. That's probably more my fault than anything else, but obviously now that you are
been underwater.
There is that. I mean, but now that I'm speaking to a Golden Demon finalist, of course, you only have so many hours of the day for all the interviews and press that you have to do.
Oh yeah, I reckon it must have been a slow year. I reckon.
You're still waiting for the invites.
Yeah.
So how have you been in the world of painting? So I know you've started another project, which I don't know how much we can talk about.
If you're on the Patreon, you can see it pretty much finished. But
nice advertising.
Yeah. There you go. That's done.
I've kind of rattled through that actually.
That's got to be worth $1. Yeah. I've got a couple of other things on the go as well. But as I alluded to in our wibbly wobbly timey wimey kind of recording that people have just listened to, but actually did yesterday, or I might not have even mentioned it yet. I've been in a bit of a funny mood with the painting because I'm like, don't know what to do. Don't know what I'd like. I've rattled through my main entry for Demon next year, and then I've kind of gone, okay, that was quicker than I thought. What do I do now? So I've been kind of banging my head against a wall, going, do I do this? Do I do that? And I've sold 3 armies, so I'm like, well, I don't have that to do. I can't do anything new for that. And then this afternoon, a new model was previewed, and I got the Fizz. So I was like, all right, now I want to do that again.
Was that the Space Wolf guy?
Yeah, new Praetor.
Okay, yeah.
Looks very, very nice.
Is it the one that looks like you?
There's he's got a baldy head and a beard, so
and there, it's pretty much 90% there.
Well, yeah, basically.
Obviously, his is slightly blonder, but anybody could paint them in real Robin colours.
His is slightly blonder. When I get him, his the one that I get, the beard will be more of a kind of rusty tone.
Rusty tone, nice. Look at that.
Less flax, more rust.
Check you out. You got your own little. Hey, it's me. That would make him very difficult to field in a battle, though. With your own mini-me potentially getting crunched by...
When he gets punted by one of 9 million dreadnoughts on the other side. Yeah,
basically. So I'm going to talk to a couple of things. So new projects on the horizon. So we're going to have a think about those. I have a question, though.
Right, yeah.
I sometimes find it quite difficult to get past a painting hump. And this is where, if I've got so far with a model, weirdly enough, they always look terrible until they don't. If that makes any sense.
And they stop looking terrible. Everyone stops looking terrible at a different part of the process.
Yeah, I think that at the moment I'm like, these are going to look terrible when they're finished, and they never really turn out terrible. But it's just that worry, if you see what I mean. So I think it's a little bit like. So to give you some idea, I oil wash my models. That's the last thing I do with them usually. I don't go back and paint over them or dry brush them or anything. Like just oil wash, that's it. maybe the base. But that's kind of like my ritual: oil wash, put it in the airing cupboard, get it out the next day, and it's like, oh look, it's magically transformed into this thing that actually looks pretty decent or half decent.
The oil pixies have done their magic overnight.
Exactly right, but it's that bit before then that's a little bit worrying. So yes, it is a little bit. It's a little bit like waiting to, I suppose, what it must be like waiting if you're a plastic surgeon after doing somebody's facelift or something, and then they take the bandage off. It's like, oh my god, actually, don't look too terrible. Rather
it's
than
like,
the Quasimodo-esque thing.
Did this work, or have I created a modern day John Merrick?
Yeah. I mean, that's the problem, I think, is because obviously 10 figures, you're like, oh my god, I hope these are okay. But anyway, I suppose it is perseverance there, isn't it? Because there is a temptation
and I
to
think
go,
a lot
I'm
of
going
it
to
can
stop
be
and start again, or strip me down.
Yeah, there's a lot of overexposure as well, because obviously nowadays you can look at 200 Golden Demon winners in 200 minutes.
That's true.
Whereas before, you would see 10 Golden Demon winners a year in one magazine that you'd either throw out and then forget where you put. You didn't have constant recall to all this incredible standard stuff, and then you kind of look at your own and go, oh dear.
Yes, that's true. That is true. That kind of imposter syndrome-esque.
Yeah, kind of false comparison of like, you look at what won the Slayer Sword, that high elf from this year when we were there, and it's like 99.99% of people who are even stood on that stage are going to look at that next to theirs and go, oh dear.
Yeah, no,
you know
right.
what I mean? So what bloody hope do the rest of us have? Kind of.
There is that, of course. Yeah, okay. So fair enough. It is a thing. Other than that, I don't think I've had any major. I have bought some. Actually, this will make you laugh, because you know that I'm the man who buys stuff, even though I shouldn't really buy stuff like this, because you'll say in your classic kind of Sean Bean best Sean Bean impression, "What's thou'st up to?"
Must have done that for you, southern bastard.
That's basically it. So I was trying to find. I was trying to find some dark earth weathering powder like Forge World used to do, because that's what I use. And I can't find it anywhere. So I bought some Humbrol Dark Earth, and I thought, Humbrol, didn't even know they're still going, but they are. Anyway, and then I bought some weathering brushes, and I've got them today. You'll like this. They are literally tiny, and I was like, oh man, I've been so had here. I'll see if I can show you a picture of them. I don't know if I held, but they look like kind of matchsticks, right? But they're like, effectively, they are makeup applicators.
All right, yeah, like little sponge tip things.
They're sold under this Hobby Me guys. Yes, so I think I might have overpaid for those, as I do. But anyway, I've got them now. I'll definitely use them.
I'm sure they'll come in useful. A bit of sponge. You could probably use them for a bit of sponge chipping or something like that. Or...
Yeah, I'm not doing that. So
could do, but refuse to.
I refuse to, out of principle. I have used my spongy technique actually for my Ultramarines, which actually turned out quite nicely, to give the armor a bit of life, if you like, rather than just being flat blue. I'm quite pleased with how that turned out. I'll probably replicate that technique, or try to, on the tanks that I'm doing for the Sons of Horus. But anyway, next projects then. So I've been somewhat enamoured by the dark side recently, particularly the corruptedness. So I'm kind of thinking, I'm going to do a later Heresy army with my Sons of Horus, sort of siege time, and bring in some more demonic.
Get some of the gribblies.
Yeah, I think so. So I think as we did the episode the other week, and initially I was like, oh, you know what, Brass Scorpion's not bad value. I've always liked the model. And then, of course, we saw the Khitan, which first of all we thought it was the big,
I thought it was on tracks.
Quake one from 2000 AD, but it's not. It's basically the top of that with the bottom of a sort of resin knight. So it's not bad value actually compared to things. And I know the plastic knights are coming out, but I think it'd be pretty cool. So I'm gonna get one of them. And I was just looking at him now actually. Let me just see if I can put some pictures up here.
Bring up the Forge World website.
Yeah, I will do. So where are we at? Let me give me a moment. It's all right. I shall swiftly move on. So yeah, I'll share my screen and we can talk this through. And Mr. B will be so happy that we've made life difficult for him. There we go. So yeah, so that is the Khitan. Hopefully you can see that, Rob.
Yeah, well, I've got it on my screen because yours is washing it out quite a bit.
Oh, is it? Okay, fair enough.
Yeah, I don't know whether it's just the way it's been displayed, but yeah, it's
right. But anyway, there he is in all his Cornite glory.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think I'm going to get one of them. I reckon you could get away with using him as a knight anyway. You know, just like a normal Questorus, because that's the Gatling cannon, and that's same as a chain axe. Sorry, chainsaw. Whatever they have.
Reaper chainsword thing.
Yeah.
Basically you get 2 sprues of the Tonka truck thing, and then basically you get some resin legs, don't you?
Yeah. So I'm going to get him. I've decided that's my next purchase. I think it'd be pretty cool.
Do some interesting stuff with him.
Yeah. Do you need knight kit as well? Actually, before oh no, there you go. Yeah, it's got everything you need, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It bloody wants to be for 117
well, I was just thinking,
knots.
Yeah, I was going to say, hopefully it's got enough in there. So yeah,
if you look on the 360, you can see what's plastic, and then you can see your resin legs that you get.
Gotcha.
There you go.
Yeah, I see what you mean. Nice. So yeah, so that bad boy's going to be coming my way at some point soon. So yeah, I think I'm going to do a corrupted knight. So I'm going to have him anyway, and I think I might use him as a Lord of War in my Sons of Horus with some of the decimators. I think you can have. I was looking this up. You can only have 1 decimator in your army, because of the
engines.
Yeah, unless they're still going to do some more
decimator. It's a heavy support choice, but that's.
Yeah, one of these. Yeah, but I think no. In the Pravian thing, it says you're going to take like 0 to 1 decimators.
Just have another Pravian.
Yes, there is that, I suppose. But anyway, he's pretty cool. So I'm kind of going to lean into that a bit, I think, and maybe do some corrupted stuff. And I think I might get some Vorax or something as well, because they can come along and maybe just make them slightly more corrupted. I'm not a big fan of the Blood Slaughter, to be honest with you, so I think I might just stick with that. But that'd be quite a nice little addition to the Sons of Horus, something a bit different. And actually, that Games Workshop model we saw in the show, the one with all the flames coming out of his heed, this chappie.
Oh, with all the flames coming out of his heed?
This one.
Someone set fire to Peter Reed.
Peter Reed's got a monkey's heed.
Monkey's heed.
Yeah, this one. I don't know if you can see him. Can you see him? No?
No, I'm still on the decimator.
Okay, fair enough. Oh, weird. It hurts Chrome. But yeah, the one, it is the Master of Possession.
Oh, yes, that gadget. Yes, I was thinking big thing, but no, yes, the goat-headed youth. That's,
yeah, he might be like
all
a
aflame
or something. I think that'd be quite cool if I were to kind of lean into the more chaosy outlook. So yeah, I think that'd be pretty neat. So, but of course, the next problem is how am I going to? So I've already got some existing knights, right? That I've already painted, and so I could, get the old bio strip out, give them a once over.
Could.
Won't, but I could. I totally could.
Yeah, it's a physical possibility. It's not a probability, but it's a possibility.
Yeah, absolutely. So I might do that and paint them up in some knight household that was, because at the moment they're kind of generically painted. They're purple and Rune Lord brass. So
right, yeah,
they can be. There's no kind of decal on them or anything like that. They could be either side.
Yeah.
But also you can't take that many knights in a knight army now.
No.
In fact, you can only, because you have to take 2 Helverins, whatever they are. Is it Helverins?
2 armigers.
Yeah, of any type, but there's only 2 types. So you've got to take 2 of those per knight.
Yeah.
So the armigers are 200 points a throw.
Yeah, or you can nerf them down to 170 because there is a rank that you can take that makes them 30 points cheaper each.
Okay, all right.
I mean, makes them obviously a bit naffy, like BS3, weapon skill 3.
Right, gotcha.
But I worked out with that you can get 4 big knights and 8 armigers in.
Right, okay, 3,000 points.
In 3,000, 2 castigators, 2 castigators, 2 lancers, and 8 armigers.
Because what I was thinking of was taking a primary detachment of knights and then taking an allied detachment of Sons of Horus with the Decimator in it.
Yeah, basically a Bravian attacks troop squad, and then whatever else you can buy.
Whatever else I can get, in that kind of Mechanicum-esque look. Yeah, or I could take my Mechanicum. Mechanicum are a bit too clean to be sort of corrupted, I think. If I was going to do that, I'd want them very much sort of Blanche-esque style.
Yeah, gribbly and bits and stuff all over them, and tentacles. And...
I think that's a whole job of work. So anyway, I think you mentioned Taro or somebody like that. I can't remember.
Yes, Taro Model Maker. He does some nice upgrades for knights. If you do yourself a Google, he's got a nice like chaotic like flail arm you can get instead of
and I'm going to need one of those because I was going to take the Atropos because I've got it, and it's rubbish at the moment because it gets one attack.
It used to be absolute filth.
Oh, it used to be. But what do we know about the rules of 2?
Well,
whatever was good in 1, it gets an absolute nerfing. So I think that Knight tentacle.
Well, you just need to look. You need to look at the Castigator for that. The Castigator was probably the weakest one. You had the Volkite sword, which was like meh, but the gun was heavy 6, strength 7, AP 3. It's now heavy 18, strength 6, AP 4, rending, shell shock.
Nice. Yeah, so it's like a Punisher cannon, isn't it? Off the Punisher. Is it Punisher? Oh, I should know. I've got 2 of them. Yeah. So I think what I might do is I might take the Knight Tentacle Power Scourge out and put that on and use that corrupted Knight rule, which basically replaces the melee weapon with a strength 10 AP2 thing, which and gives you, he'd have 5 attacks, which is much better than 1 attack. So I think I might go for that. So I might do that, but obviously I need to find some bits and bobs to kind of make him look a bit more chaos efficacious.
Mr. Taro's your man.
But I don't really want to start hoiking bits off the model if I could possibly avoid it. I feel that possibly avoiding it is not really going to happen here, is it?
Well, he does those arm extension joints for there, which you can stick a magnet in. So you could take the arms off, put those arm extension joints onto the bits you've taken off, and you could then mag it, so you could go back to being a normal Atropos if you wanted.
That might be interesting. Okay, that heads are cool. There's a lot of cool stuff on this. I'll have a look through that. But I guess in the PDF that we saw, there isn't the corrupted light knights look exactly the same as the normal knights, except they've just got Sons of Horus stuff on them. Yeah. As far as I can tell, so that might be another option. Is I might just go for semi-corrupted, not full on. But then I think you and Michael and Chris were saying that by the time the Siege came around,
Siege is full.
They were full on Chaos Space Marines effectively. At that point.
They've speeded that up a lot because with how the Siege books have gone. Back before the Siege books, it was like, even when they were at Terror, it wasn't that bad, and then you get to the end of the Heresy, and Mortarian's got his wings, and then
Tube Socks there. Sock Boy.
Tube Sock Boy turns up, and then Magnus decides. Magnus is having a chat with Daddy in the palace, and Daddy says, "I'll still take you back. I'll just have to kill all your current sons, and I'll build you some new ones." And Magnus goes, "No," and goes full demon mode and gets booted out of the palace because of the shield.
Yep.
And you see him described as the model is before he kind of pops out of existence and gets, kicked out of the boundary. Reminds me a little bit of what was that place in Warcraft, that floating city where if you dropped into the wrong side of it, you just automatically got teleported into your faction's bit, the floating one. It wasn't not Shatra, I think it was the one before that.
Then I might have stopped playing by then. But I kind of played it in classic mode.
Yeah, the place was in classic, where you went in and there was just a big pink dome with a big crater, and then later on in Wrath, it'd shown you where it had flown off.
Okay.
I can't bloody remember where it was.
Anyway,
doesn't matter. Wrong game system.
Wrong game.
No miniatures.
So there are some options there. I think painting wise, I'm wondering whether I should strip and repaint, because we don't actually need to repaint 2 of them and have the crate and paint the new Chiron, if you see what I mean. Because I'm not going to take 5, and I think
Dalaran. That's the one.
Oh right. Oh yeah. But I think I can probably take as a kind of 1600 point allied detachment. That's 2 knights, 4 armigers, which is probably enough. Maybe 3 knights, but yeah, I think that's probably enough.
No, I think that's quite a that's the most you'll get in about 1600.
Yeah.
I was properly like trying to be economical, and I only got 8 armigers and 4 Cerastus in 3k.
That's still a pretty good army, like.
Yeah, like 2 castigators will do a number on the massed infantry that you see now with a strength 10 AP2 Volkite sword that automatically hits everybody at initiative 2 if you're in base contact with it. So you stand there and you go, oh, you've got to pile in, and they go, it's all right, we've got thunderhammers, and you go, no, you haven't.
Not anymore.
Not anymore. You're all dead.
Nice. So yeah, I think so what we should do then is we should embark upon this journey. I'll take the Atropos and I'll use the rules for a Questorus Knight for the Khitan, and I'll fill the rest of my stuff in with corrupted stuff from my Sons of Horus, and I'll take on your massive knight army as and when that gets put together.
Yeah, and I'm very tempted to pull the trigger on a Lancer at the moment. Admittedly, bad timing because that new Wolf Praetors had me writing Wolf lists all afternoon.
Okay, fair enough. Well, I mean, you could always maybe do a smaller one of the knights and do allied detachment of wolves, like I'm doing with the Sons of Horus.
Oh yeah, that's true. Like a kind of mirror match type thing.
And then we can find somewhere to go and have a game.
Yeah, that would be a thing.
Because then you're kind of doing both things, then, aren't you? Simultaneously.
Yeah. This is true. Well, there's the Wolf Rider War that you have to use them as an allied detachment as well. You could do knights as the primary, and then there's the Watch Pack one has to be an allied.
Yeah, you definitely can take an allied detachment. I just thought I better check that, but yeah, you can because I remember looking at it today. So maybe that's what we should do.
I think so. I might
be our next project.
I might jump on one of those Lancers while they've still got some on the lower price at Element.
Yeah, good plan. Okay, well, let's start with those then. So I'm going to get my Khitan after. So I've got the event in Scotland, so that will be by October. So the next time we shall meet, we shall find out how we're doing. But I'm going to start with the Khitan, and then potentially remodel the Atropos as a corrupted beast of war.
Yeah, just get a razor saw on it, take the arms off nice and careful. Put some magnets in.
I'm going to come to your house.
All right, okay. Yeah, that's fine.
Let's wrap up then. So that's the project. That's what we're going to do, and that will give us something to talk about in more detail as we progress.
Yes, indeed. Yeah, I might jump on that while the.
Have you thought about a knight household? Are you going to kind of do your own or pick one in particular?
I'd probably do the same as I did my old castigator. Like part of me, because I've got a resin castigator, part of me is like,
okay,
well, do I keep that and add to that?
Yeah.
But then I painted that so long ago, replicating it to what I would be happy with it being a close enough match just isn't going to happen.
Yes.
I mean, the company whose paints they are have been bought 3 times since I painted that. So the formulas have probably changed and they probably look different. So,
yes. I think that sounds reasonable. I mean, I've sold my Iron Warriors, so that will give me some potential. Oh, sorry. Oh my goodness me! So I just kind of Googled which, like most legions had a kind of Titan or a Knight household that they kind of kicked about with. Mm-hmm. It's House Ethragon, A.E. Thragon.
Hang on. Man goes to Google. House Ethragon. Let's have a look. House A.E. Thragon.
Yeah, A.E. Rethgan. Yeah, I shall. But yes.
Oh, that's House Atherton. No, I don't want a house for sale in Atherton. No.
Are you sure? Yeah, I'll put the name in the chat for you.
Yeah, put it in the chat because Google's thinking I'm wanting to move. Google thinks I want to move to California.
Okay. Yeah, it's in the Skype chat.
Oh God, it's got one of those. It's got one of those funny things. I don't even know how to do them on an Apple keyboard.
Can you copy and paste in Apple?
Yeah.
So there you go.
Can I copy and paste? Who are you talking to?
Well, I wonder whether the Apple had that as a function. That was all. Okay.
So this lot are associated with the Sons of Horus, are they?
Allegedly so, yeah. So
that's a rather punk logo they've got there.
It's pretty cool. Actually, it's sort of like a word bearer's red, isn't it?
Yeah, if a word bearer designed a Black Flag album artwork, then
yeah. So that's not a million miles. That looks doable as a paint scheme.
Let's have a look. So the paint scheme is.
Sorry, we should probably share the screen again, shouldn't we?
You share that one. So let's look at that. Oh yeah, that's like a dark metallic, silver metallic. There's black, and then a sort of Black Library would probably like to describe that as bruised meat red.
Yes. I think it's a darker, slightly darker than corn red, isn't it? But no, it's actually corn red, isn't it?
There's a lot of silver. There's a lot of black. That's a color scheme you could do some sexy stuff with.
Magic. All right, there we go.
That's a colour scheme you could do some very sexy stuff with. What did you Google search to find that? Because let's find what Night House.
I did, what night? I think it was Night House, and then I did Sons of Horus Night House, I think. I don't know that for a fact. I haven't looked through all of the business. Oh, yeah, here we are.
Problem is doing the same thing for the wolves means I'm going to find.
Oh, interestingly enough, if I read this, you'll like this bit. It was not until the departure for Terra by the Emperor and the reorganization of the Imperialist forces under command of Horus Lupercal that elements of the Space Force Legion were tasked with the subjugation and destruction of Recton Drea. He's one of the guys there, so there could be some interesting business.
So there's a pre-established law reason for why we'd be having a Barney.
Yeah. So that's really cool. So Horus himself was so basically I reckon there's some business there that we could attend to make a really cool narrative out of all of it. Cool.
I will see if I can find Night Houses at the Burning of Prospero. I will go and get book 7 out because I bet there'll be some there's a list of everybody who went basically. So there'll be something on there, and we'll take that. And are you? So you say you're going to come down here to get stuff chopped up?
Yeah, I might
dismantled.
I will do that. I think I'll put what I'll do first is I'll get the Khitan and I'll get him painted up in that scheme with some assistance. So maybe that will be the next thing we talk about. Yeah,
that's a good plan. That is a good plan.
Right. And then I'll add another knight, which might be the Atropos, with some suitable corruptedness, and then I'll bring the Decimator into the mixer with my kind of corrupted Sons of Horus. So that should be really cool.
Yeah. So if I used my the knights that I've got with my Mechanicum, I could just get away with different arms and call my Moirax
armigers,
and you can use the Porphyrion in a knight list.
You can.
But I was thinking about getting rid of the Mechanicum.
Okay. Actually, I've got two Moirax. I could do the same thing, couldn't I?
Because I could just have a word. Because Mr. Tarot there sells melee weapons and #not autocannons of honest gov that are Armiger compatible, which is what the Moirax chassis is. Armiger twin autocannon for a tenner.
Right.
And then a combat arm for 13.50, so for 25 quid. Admittedly, that's each, and I've got 4 of them. That's actually more expensive than just buying plastic armigers.
Yeah. Okay. Fair enough. Cool. All right. Let's leave it there then, and we shall get back together in a month's time when the first parts of the puzzle will start to be unleashed. and we can talk through our progress to eventually get to the point where we shall have a ding dong at some point in the next couple of months.
Yeah, if anybody has any questions, then send them in. I will scour the worthies of YouTube and Patreon and see if they've answered it, and then blatantly parrot their response back at you.
Of course, that's what the internet was made for.
Well, yeah, basically. And right here.
Cool stuff. All right, folks. Like I said, if you've got any questions, anything you'd want Rob to answer from the PaintShack, we'll also obviously do that. But as we make our various journeys through our new projects, you can follow along. Cheers, then. Let's go on to the close, I think, next.
Probably.
Okay, cool. That bolt of lightning you just heard in the background, that was as we return back to this timeline from our previous timeline via our DeLorean that we have parked outside Age of Empires Towers to bring you the close as we have now zipped through time from tomorrow. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed the show as much as we enjoyed creating it. But if you would be so kind, if it's not too much trouble, if you could leave us a review of the show if you enjoyed it on iTunes, or follow us on Facebook where you can engage with us because we're always looking at that. Twitter/X, I guess it is now, Instagram and YouTube. Particularly YouTube. We've been putting a lot of content on YouTube, including the show. So if you want to see some fantastic video editing skills by Mr. B and see what we're talking about rather than trying to guess, go to the YouTube channel and watch it back. We might do something to encourage people to use the YouTube channel a bit more, so watch this space for that one. The links for everything that we talk about tonight hopefully be in the show.
That reminds me, I sorted out that boudoir photo shoot for Rob.
Did you? Okay. Yep. Very good.
Yeah.
Okay.
But they did say that the Basque would be extra just for hazard pay.
Yeah, that seems fair enough. Anyway, if you could also give our page a like, that would be great. For no other reason than it lets us know that you enjoy what we're doing, and that what we do, we're not just shouting madly into the void, which is actually probably what we are doing. If you want to get in touch with us, of course, you can post on our Facebook wall or send us a message, or as you've seen in the show earlier, you can send us an email, info@ageofempire.co.uk will reach us. And if you've got any questions, like what happens if there's suddenly a zombie apocalypse and the four of us are faced with an oncoming horde, what do we do? That kind of thing. We're happy to riff on that.
What am I going to get eaten by this time?
Yeah, basically, all these scenarios will end in Michael dies
very quickly, and the rest of us might take a little bit longer until Rob eventually ditches us. Okay, or sells us into slavery or something like that.
Unless it's sort of like a rampant anime convention, in which case I think we would all die first and Mr. B would become the king or something.
That's true.
I don't like that much anime.
The furries all rise up and try and attack the non-furries.
Or maybe maybe humanity will reset itself, and in that reset, the calm and peaceful nature of Mr. B his qualities will finally shine through, and he will become the new overlord, effectively a benevolent dictator, if you will, where everything is kind of quite chilled, and just see the best of everybody.
Rebelling against him.
Yeah, exactly. Well, that would be a good story, wouldn't it? Okay. A bit like the Matrix, with the first Matrix where they created, where everything was lovely, and then the humans were like, "This can't be right. Let's smash it all up." That's humanity. Anyway, and
that definitely sounds like humanity, doesn't it?
Anyway, if you want to help the show, we do have some affiliate links with Audible, so you can sign up and get your Horus Heresy audiobooks through them with a month's free trial, and after that, it's a mere £7.99 a month, which hasn't actually gone up, has it?
Nope.
All of the Black Library books exist within its ecosphere, so feel free. What would be really lovely is if you became a patron of the show and just showed your appreciation by putting a pound or $1 or whatever particular denomination you're listening in into our tip jar. We'd be really grateful for that. Or you can even use a Ko-fi or coffee, which is a bit like a tip. I don't quite know how it works, and I'm not sure what the link is because it's not there. But that would also be something you could help us with, and it just helps us keep the lights on. And eventually, one day, we might have enough to go and do something crazy, like who knows?
Buy a Kit Kat.
Buy a Kit Kat / go to the Las Vegas Open. Either of those two things.
Oh no, my dream at the minute is to get
very different ends of the spectrum.
I know, right?
Yeah, my dream at the minute. My dream at the minute is to get us over to Amsterdam or something, so we can go play a game of Heresy while high on edibles.
You're a very strange young man.
You live in Hartlepool. You're probably closer to edibles than any of us at the moment. You can probably reach through your wall and get edibles.
We do know where all the local dealers are.
Okay. Anyway, before we incriminate ourselves,
I just think it'd be hilarious. I just think it'd be hilarious to have a video of Graham sitting under the table, racked with paranoia, as he tries to dictate where the artillery Resign Warriors are supposed to land.
I'm not dealing with any of you fuckers if you throw a whitey.
Yeah, not going to happen. Anyway,
I'll tip you in the bloody canal.
I don't understand what edibles are. I don't know.
No, me neither. I'm no idea what you're talking about, Mr. B. Okay. Anyway, Patreon is an option. Like I say, Monday we'll save up and have enough money to go to Las Vegas Open, the four of us, and tell you all about it. We can also help us by going through the advert on our website to purchase your wargaming goodies, and you can go through Element Games. We also, if you do go through Element Games, have these rather cool crystal codes, which means you, sir, get double crystals and we get normal crystals. So if you put the following codes in, pick your favourite presenter, /talent /Michael, and Chris is obviously talent number 1, CHR211. My own is GRA 2794. I've never understood why I've got 4 digits. Rios has got 3. Michael, the non-talent, is MIC 440, and talented Mr. Rob.
It is a bit harsh, isn't it?
The talented Mr. Rob.
The non-talent seems
676.
It
we
is
also have links to
another
another
Michael
affiliate
and
shop.
the talent.
Yes. Another affiliate shop, the Outpost, which is also a great little FLGS in Sheffield, and I believe people use that as well as Element. And a reminder, of course, that we have the 3K Halloween whack challenge, an absolute nightmare list.
I think we're up to 5 or 6 lists now, and Anthony Little has just been asking, do I have to get the cost and everything?
Yeah.
And I'm like, he
Yep.
does.
Yeah.
It's the
Not
same
Fury
rules
of
as
the
a normal-
Ancients.
Yeah, please, because it's not. That's no
bonus
skill involved.
points.
It's about as surprising as America winning gold medals in shooting.
Yeah, 3,000 point lists, whack as you like. They are supposed to be a nightmare list, so I want to make this absolutely clear. These aren't a blueprint for you to create these lists, right? These are Halloween nightmare lists that people have dreamt up in their fever dreams of sheer desperation and, being tempted by the devil himself. So whack lists in by the 9th of October, and we'll talk them all about all of them in our Halloween special. The winner of which we deem to be the most shocking and terrifying list that isn't obviously Fury of the Ancients, will get some Age of Empire merch, as of yet undisclosed Age of Empire merch. Who knows, it might be some new cool stuff. If you send your selection into list challenge at edgeofempire.co.uk, we'll make sure we have a look at it and judge them accordingly. We are going to judge them blind, I believe. So we wouldn't have seen them before. So it's going to be quite interesting. Or we'll potentially have a judge and then we'll each put our own champion to represent us.
Ideally, we're going to do what we normally do, is each have a list. We'll choose our 4 favourites, have a list each.
But we won't know what the other person's chosen, so that will give us a score.
But we won't know. And then we'll.
I might have to do some work to make sure nobody picks the same list then.
Well, we'll see. Let's see how many we get as a final number.
Yeah,
then I've got a couple of ideas. So
anyway, next episode is going to be all about the Emperor's Children. I don't know if you noticed or saw, Mr. B spent an inordinate amount of time creating a lovely guide to the Dark Angels, and the links to that will be in the show, which is basically the output from the show that we did in terms of investigating the Dark Angels, plus our own comments and a link to the show that accompanied that. So that's the plan going forward. So that is everything.
Yeah, that was a fun piece of work. Put that together because I had to rewrite it a little bit because obviously the inducti have come in. So
anyway, that's it for us. I wish you a very pleasant month or couple of weeks, depending on how soon we get to do this next. But without further ado,
the next show might be a tiny little one that me and Graham do on the road. Actually, we might do a tiny little one.
Good to know.
When we're away in Scotland.
Okay. Well, we could.
I was just thinking we could just like talk about the stuff in the car.
We can't really record in the car, but yes, we can do something.
Okay. All right, fair enough.
Graham's got something else to do in the car, which is
So Rob,
stopping
when
you
we're
from
the only two
dying.
survivors, when it's just so
Where's
who are we
PC
gonna
Colin
nominate
Ainsworth
to-
when you need
I
him?
think it's very hard to record in cars because they're very noisy, actually, and so unless you're kind of completely mic'd up professionally, it's going to be quite a tricky thing to do. I mean, it would certainly pass the time. Anyway,
I forget because my car's
love
so
the idea
quiet.
of
So.
you shoving a mic boom into Graham's face, going, "I can't hear you. Talk louder."
All right, fair enough.
While you're
We'll figure something out. Anyway, right.
yes,
Catch you
have a
later.
great month, everybody, and good night and God bless.
No.
Take care, everybody. Love and snuggles.